Hello there, I'm going live, and everything is a mess. I was just trying to get on my normal laptop that I use, and had no sound. No matter what I did, StreamYard would give me no sound. So I had to switch over to my iPad with this really strange small camera that's making me uncomfortable and looking quite bald. Wow, my forehead is giant on this camera. Not that it's small on other ones. Um, Paulo's going to be a little late tonight. Wilson will probably be here in a few minutes. Where's comments? So I guess I'm here for a few minutes by myself, seeing who else is out there in this very strange view. Let's see, do I still have my balloons? Where are my balloons? Turn on reactions. Jared doing an Archon TGIF. I don't even know how to use show. There we go. An Archon retrospective on cameras. TGIF Jared. Thank God it's Friday. Ooh. I don't even know if I can hear anything yet since there's no one here to talk to me. I can read your I probably sound completely differently too because I don't have my big mic plugged in. I should I can use it on my iPad. I just didn't have time to plug it in. I wonder if I plugged it in now, would it mess things up or make them better? There's Wilson. Hello there, Wilson. How are you tonight?
I am good. And yourself?
Oh, I'm looking completely different.
Yes.
Uh
Did you move
because
your studio back?
no, because as I was setting up, I was getting no sound out of my laptop. I don't know what reasons. It was just StreamYard too. Give me because usually I test the speaker. There's a little you go into StreamYard, there's a test the speakers feature.
Right.
Um Playing nothing. Unplugged my speakers, wouldn't play it through the laptop, checked the mute button. I don't know what restarted. So I switched over to my iPad, which has this distinctly uncomfortable small little wide angle camera. I wonder if I can change the camera to the that just turns it off. For front ultra wide. How about just front camera? Oh, that's a little more comfortable. Whoops. Whoa. There we go. I
Okay,
was
that's a little more normal.
yeah, I don't need that ultra wide, I don't think. And my I can push it back a little, but my laptop's behind it. Yeah, I think that's better.
Okay.
The other one was a little too creepy for me. Friar
It-
Tuck, evening gentlemen, and of course
Evening.
now I have to touch the screen in order to do things.
Wow. Okay. It's a bit wild. It took me a few minutes to get on because when I turned on when I turned on um the computer to StreamYard, it was like I'm looking at the camera. It's like, why is it facing me? It's showing me a bunch of Migos, and I completely forgot I have it attached over my desk so I could record what I was doing. So I completely forgot about it, and it's like I'm looking like those are my Migos. Is it backwards? Is it pointing at a shelf? And then I realized, oh, I gotta unplug this thing and then place it in front of me. So it was like so my webcam was like, oh, I completely forgot I had it somewhere else. So it's like, the image I was getting made sense in the sense of, okay, I get it. Where is that on my desktop?
And I even pulled out my AirPods to try and get some sound out of them. Nope.
Ah.
My laptop StreamYard was giving me no sound. Like maybe that's a special feature you have to pay for on the laptop now. Sound.
That's how they nickel and dime you.
Oh, you want to be heard? That's a monthly subscription.
There you go. You didn't subscribe to sound.
You
Only
can do
pictures.
you can do pantomime.
There you go. You're lucky you got color.
By the way, turns out this year I'm going to be at your old high school doing
Oh, okay.
fanfare for
Ah,
Reppin' Pratt on 25th and 26th, I think it is this month. So are you going to be there
yes.
too this year?
I will be there. I'm on at least 2 panels and a
Ah,
portfolio review.
I'll get to see you in person.
Yes. It's been a
Ah,
while.
I know.
Now that
Since
I think
whatever the
about it.
last Marvel event was, that I have zero idea how many decades ago that was.
Yeah, that
Either at John Romita's uh, thing at the Society of Illustrators or Flo's memorial at the Society of Illustrators.
I was at both.
That was a long time. Yeah.
That was quite some time ago. They may have been a New York Comic Con in between,
I
but I'm
think
not
the
sure.
last time I was at New York Comic Con was like 2018 or something like that. It has been a long time since I've been at New York Comic Con
Yeah,
because I used to go down with Bob Wyacek
right.
and they stopped giving him passes. So he stopped going. And then he
Yeah.
went blind, so it made it harder for him to go to. But now he's doing cons with his son. His
Yeah, I
son is
think if I remember correctly, I think he was at the last con.
I think he said he was doing the last one as sort of a test
Oh, okay.
to see if it was worth it or not. I think he was at the you may be right on that. He was at the last one.
I didn't speak to him, but I'm almost sure I saw his name in Artist Alley.
Mhm. I remember that now.
Ah,
Yep, but I'll be at Fanfare, right? Faire.
yes. It used to be called when I went there it was called the Students Art Festival. It was
Uh-huh.
basically the same thing
Right.
where you had alumni show up. That's where when I did it back in the 80s. That's where I met Joe Jusko,
Okay.
and he was unveiling the painting he just finished at that time, which was the Spider-Man poster where Spider-Man is removing his shirt, or Peter Parker is removing his shirt. So it had, Peter Parker's face, but the Spider-Man costume was underneath, and he was removing the shirt. And I think it was that Spider-Man, who was going to be the Spider-Man actor, kind of based on
I think I
that
remember
look.
that one.
Who was he was the Spider-Man actor who was on the cover that was done by Elliot Elliot Brown,
Okay.
the photographer who does some
Right.
Marvel covers. So I think it was Elliot, and so Scott Lava, I think was the name of the actor. He was a stuntman guy who was Spider-Man for all the promotional live action stuff. So it covers
Mhm.
the advertisements for like the essentials and stuff like that. So he was like hired to be Spider-Man during the canon years. Marvel's
Mhm.
canon years. So, and that was the actor that almost became Spider-Man. He was cast, and then that movie just never got made. So, anyway, long story short, yes. So they do it every year. They have this festival. I'll also be in their gymnasium where I'll have the table. So it'll be the same place where you're going to most likely be
Yep.
located. There's like two sections, which is the gymnasium itself or the cafeteria.
Okay.
The cafeteria used to be where Neil Adams will have like this massive table booth thing,
Uh,
but since
Good
unfortunately he's no
evening, Kid
longer with us,
Goblin.
hello Tick Up. So since he's no longer with us, that
Yep.
space has gone to something else altogether. But I find it to be a fun show. I make
Yeah.
absolutely no money at this
Yeah.
show, but it's more just to support the kids, physically be there, and then, like I said, do a few panels here and there.
Right, like I said, I'll be going to represent the school and try to recruit students.
There you go.
That sort of thing. So first time I'll be at the what is it called? The High School of Art and Design.
The High School of Art and Design. It's in
Okay.
almost same location when I went there, but completely not. So
Ah,
because the property was on, you know, in the middle of New York City,
right.
they had offered the Department of Education a buttload of money. And one of the things they said, okay, we'll tear down the old school and we'll give you the spot, but you have to build a new school kind of on this spot.
Uh-huh.
So they built a pretty much behind where the old school was. They built a tall, thin building, and
Uh-huh.
that's the new school itself. The school is technically located where what used to be um, the auditorium and the gymnasium, in that kind of that spot of the school, which was on the side of the school, kind of a thing. So school used to take up the whole block, but now it just takes up a
All right.
small section that just goes
It's
straight up
over
like 9 floors.
like 57th and 3rd Avenue, I think it said it was.
Yes, I believe so.
I
Yes,
was
it's
looking up what I was, figuring out how to get there because I just found
yeah,
out this week I'll be going.
yeah. I
Um,
believe it's on 56th Street.
56.
So I have to
Okay.
double check because I know it just by memory
Yeah,
from
you
going all the time. I don't
once you're
think about
close
the
enough, you
actual
just walk
street.
there.
That's exactly what it is. And for high school, I went there every day, so
Yeah.
all
So
I
you're
have
not
to
going to
do
get
now,
lost. The
right?
Society of Illustrators is over there too, right?
Yes, it's
It's,
not that far away.
yeah.
Society of Illustrators is, I believe, off Lexington,
Mhm.
and so this is like I think 3 blocks, 3 blocks towards the river, and then down 6 or 7 blocks.
Yeah.
So it's not right there, but it's close enough.
It's close by. Yeah, it's in the neighborhood.
Yes.
Hello, hello. Comics Progressive. I was just watching um your DC romance comics that was sideways for some reason. His video, he got some new DC romance comics from the 60s and 70s. Well, my thought about those two is like not a lot of imagination in those covers. Some good drawing. Most of them were of they were all about the type kind of thing. The story told to you in the word balloons. So it was like a man and a woman, usually fairly close up, and there was some word balloon in there with some dramatic conflict in it. I was like, you know what? These covers could have had a lot more imagination in them because I've seen romance covers with more imagination in them than those DC ones in the dying days of romance comics. I'm sure that they weren't high in anyone's list to make the covers really interesting of those.
I was always curious if they ran like the old sci-fi magazines where it's like, here's an illustration right for it, you
DC, I
know.
know DC did that with like some of their superhero books in the 60s. I've read that. Um, Art video update, Jared. I think I'm going to post my first art video this weekend. I'll have to figure out when. Probably maybe Sunday. But I've got it done. Matter of fact, I've got 2 of them done. I want to get a third one done this weekend. Where I've been trying to figure out how to present my art on video, sort of thing.
Right. Hmm.
Um, I think I figured it out at least for now. You
Okay.
know, so I'm gonna post some videos. 5-piece art show. That's my uh, that's my video so far. The first 2. Like I said, um, I've got it down to takes me about 2 hours to make and edit the video. it must take me about 2 hours to pull out the art too. To kind of find it and decide and go this one, this one. It took me about so it, it it's a process.
I couldn't understand. Are you writing a script at all, or
I'm
you're
not
just
writing a
winging it?
script. Decided I'd never get it done if I write a script. So what I'm doing is grabbing a piece of art and I give you heads up view like this where I talk about it for a minute and I do 5 of those first and then I drop down with the show it to you and talk for another minute about it. So you're getting like 2 minutes of me talking about a piece. First from me showing it to you like this and then from me shooting down on it and close up and moving around.
Oh,
And
okay.
keep it, and I'm going to post those minute long ones or 2 minute long ones, I think, on TikTok and Instagram eventually. But I edit 5 of them together into one like 10 to 12 minute video for YouTube. And I've
Okay.
already posted some of them on some of the short ones on my Patreon, but not many people go there. Yeah. I forgot to rotate the vid before uploading. Yep.
That happens.
Yep. Wilson, congrats on your 47-year toy find. I
Ah,
saw
thank
that.
you, Tid Goblin. Yes, and for those who don't know or check out my TikTok or Instagram or Facebook, I think I put it on. I finally got, and it's not like I've been searching for 47 years. It's just like, oh, I would like to have that.
In the back of your
Forget ab-
mind.
Forget about it. Back of my mind. During my Marvel days, hey, I got some money. Let me go searching for some stuff. Never really looked for it. Never found it. So, what we're talking about is a Mego Batman 12-inch Mego Batman
Ah.
with the metallic hands and feet.
Those are the ones that are really expensive, mint in box?
These are the ones really expensive, mint in box. I've seen them for over $1,000,
Yeah.
mint in the box. What causes it to be that much too is this thing called the flyaway action, which is a bunch of pulleys,
Yeah.
strings, and stuff like that that can easily be tossed away and
Mm-hmm.
not found. I happen to have one with a Spider-Man set that I bought back when I was working at Marvel and had some money, and I was able to buy it in the package. But the package was terrible, which is why I had gotten a good deal about it from it. But over the years, the package just fell apart, so I eventually took the figures out. But it's like, yeah, I have that the flyaway action thing, and by itself, it's like $300
Wow.
just for this pack of string that
Mm-hmm.
that has pulleys and stuff like that. So the idea is that you put it on the back of the figure, and then you can mimic a flight thing on it because you're just literally just pulling string
Uh-huh.
over. It's a whole contraption,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm sure it worked the first 2 or 3 times the kid had it, and would have completely lost it. And so for Batman, it was one of those things that yes, he is missing his belt, not too hard to find, but the rest of them is intact again without the flyaway action. But what I enjoy about looking at this thing is that the hands, they're basically magnets that you would probably find on a cabinet.
Oh yeah.
If you look at it,
That
these
those are
are,
the magnets that hold my cabinet doors closed.
yes. So the legs and hands are unique to the figure. There are other 12-inch figures that'll look like the original ones, just a little bigger. Here's like the 8-inch one. So the 12-inch one from back in the day would be just bigger. But the one for the magnet ones, the head's different, the chest emblem's different, and of course the hands, but the whole body is completely different than the original 12-inch one. So they really modified a unique 12-inch Batman, 12-inch Robin the same way with these. Now there was also the plans to do Spider-Man, who would have made perfect sense to have the magnets on it, but it only appeared in the catalog, and there apparently not enough interest, so they never made it. But the Batman ones, I remember seeing the commercials clearly for this, but I never saw it in the stores to even ask my parents about it. And the bigger ones were a little more expensive
Right.
than the smaller ones. And the smaller ones we're talking about $5
Yeah.
in the 70s, and then the
Which
bigger ones was probably close to $25. Again, back in the 70s, I
that was
was
a lot.
probably never going to get a 12-inch one.
Yeah.
I was lucky to even get any of the 8-inch ones, but I had a few of them.
Yeah. I used to get them for Christmas and birthdays from my
Oh, okay. So it's
relatives,
like,
my amigos.
yeah, that was like, the toy to get at the time, or Star Wars. So
Huh.
you were either getting one one set or the other. And yeah, it was like one of those things like I always wanted them. And then every now and then it's like I go looking, it's like, oh, it's too expensive, or don't really think about it. But when I was opening, I realized, yeah, this is something I kind of wanted for the last 47 years, never really thinking about it. But it's like, oh, this was pretty neat to get.
And how are you doing tonight,
Hello.
Paolo?
Just got home.
Ah,
Ah, okay.
I'm,
wa-
I'm gonna
Was
have
taking my shoes off.
to. Well, I look a little and probably sound a little different tonight because I was opening up my laptop and I was getting no sound out of StreamYard, so I had to switch over to my iPad. Uh, so I'm on like a completely different interface tonight. And I think I'm gonna have to plug this thing in. I'm down to like a third power. Wonder why.
iPads are terrible for streaming.
It's all
I
I
know because
got right now.
once I did a thing with one of my friends here in Portugal. He had just come from the Angoulême festival in France, and we did a 2 hour
Mhm.
video. And he was doing it from his iPad, which means that just as the show was finishing, he was out of battery.
Yeah, I gotta see where my let's see. I probably have to flip this over too. Let's see if we can.
Most likely because of the location of the
I can't flip it over. That'll ruin
eh,
my camera because the camera's up top, and if it's down the bottom, it'll be.
right. You would
I
have to
I
you would
already
have to
had the.
angle it
Let's
more.
show Paolo this. The
Is what
this
we
was on by
discovered at the
default.
beginning.
The front ultra wide camera. I was like, this is that's a little too much.
Mhm.
I prefer this one. Let's see, where's my I have so many plugs to so many things that I'm like, which one is my iPad plug? I don't know.
I had
Let's see.
eventually started putting them into like little baggies and just writing in marker what that
Ah,
plug device was for. Because I have so many things like the portable light box, the light pad, stuff like that.
and everything is a USB-C plug. So I got tons of, oh, that's too short for me.
Mhm.
That ain't gonna work. Let's see. Oh, maybe I can put it back there. I have so many places to plug things in
You could
too
plug
that
it.
it's like every plug is taken.
You said
Let's
the
see.
laptop was still on your desk, right? Because you could plug
Oh
it into
yeah.
the laptop to charge it from there.
Oh, that's right. I forgot about that. We can do that. We can unplug that, plug this into here,
And
and plug this into the laptop.
as
Let's
long as
see
your
if it.
laptop is on, it should charge it.
Let's see. Let's open the. Oh, there we go.
Charging from the laptop from the
Whoops!
laptop is
I
gonna
just knocked everything down.
yeah, that's gonna take forever, man.
Doesn't matter. Undo typing. Undo typing. I don't know where that came from.
Must press some
as long
buttons.
as it's plugged in, it doesn't matter if it's charging. It just kind of matters that it's still charged. There we go. Now it shouldn't cut out in an hour and a half or whenever that is. Ooh, but I got to figure out what happened with why StreamYard was giving me no sound.
It might just be a restart problem, maybe.
I did that. I
Oh,
restarted, and I was like, curious. Did you make it to the comic shop this week?
as a matter of fact, I did.
Well,
Just got back not too long ago, and I
ah,
have gotten my books from last week
uh-huh.
and this week's books, and quite a few off the shelves. I
Wow.
spent a little more money than I expected to, but it was like, okay, if I don't get these now, I'm not going to get them, and then
Right.
I'm not going to be able to talk about them. So not to say I'm going to read them, but at
No.
least I picked them up. So let me pull these out first, and then I'll take them out of the bags because the light's going to reflect and not be able to see anything. So
Mm-hmm. Plugged in. Yeah, I was in. I had to commute into the city an extra day this week, so I think I'm more tired than normal. It's like and I got a plastic knife, which is a bone folder.
I
I
was
don't know if
thinking
you ever
about getting
use
one the
the.
other. I
Not
have
that it's
not.
bone; it's plastic. But this is what you use to fold your zines that you make. I have one that here, and I have one in my bag that I use when I go in to teach. And the one in my bag, I went to buy another one of these. Who makes these? Elk Tools, and I couldn't find it on Amazon where I got the other one. I guess they don't make them anymore. So finally, I went, oh, let's try eBay. And sure enough, I found one on eBay and used, I assume, because it was dirty when I got it. I'm like, geez, you could have given it a wipe.
Yeah.
I don't know what was on it, but I was like, ugh. And it smelled a little bit like cigarettes or something. So I put it in with some dryer sheets, just even though I don't think this type of plastic is going to hold smells for very long. I was like, holy cow. I don't think I
I
have my gestures here, though, with on my iPad.
probably not.
They're not turned on. How rude.
That's how they get you for another subscription. You got to pay for the sound. You have to pay for the for your
Gestures.
gestures.
Well, let me show you one of my comics I got this week, which I now know. Oh, we'll show you Dork number 3,
Dork number 3.
which I was supposed to get in my pull list, but it wasn't there, but it was out on the shelf. Now I realize why. Roy wasn't there, the owner, to tell me. If you look there, you can see the corners dented. See
Oh,
that?
okay.
So they probably come in damaged. And when that happens, Roy usually doesn't, because he puts them in, lists them as damage, because he doesn't want to sell damaged books to the customers. But he puts them out on the shelf in case someone really wants to read it that week. And then, like, I can bring this back and trade him for an undamaged one, and he'll throw this one out or whatever he has to do with it. But issue 3 was, it continues to be good. This one was all about this fella here trying to hunt down Dork. So some fun artwork, a fun story, some solid stuff once again. Whoops. But now I got to get my mint condition copy. Oh, jeez. I keep going to hit my touchpad on my laptop instead of the screen.
So I
Habit.
also picked up Dork number 3,
Ah,
and while I was there, I noticed Dork number 2 was
all
available.
right.
So second printing
Yep.
for Dork number 2, and then Dork number 1, I got the fourth printing
Oh, cool.
edition. So this way here, I could read the whole story to see, if Dork
It's good.
is
It's
what,
good stuff.
the good stuff everybody's been talking about. So it's like, all right. So those were like extra stuff that I got off the shelf. Where it was like, okay, Dork's there. I could read the first 3 issues and then decide if I want to put it
Right.
onto my pull list. I do like the artwork just by looking at it.
Yeah.
I like the logo design. I like the art. And so far, at least visually, what I'm seeing, I'm enjoying, and it's like, all right, that is
The
cool,
the
and it's
writing's
like
pretty good
on there.
too. I
A-
recommend it.
Yeah,
Uh,
and going back 1 second to the to your bone folder thing.
Bone
So it's
folder.
like I have that on my list of art supplies to get the next time I go to Michael's, because I was looking at some videos about stitching together, a handmade like sketchbook type thing.
Uh-huh.
I saw somebody doing, and she was just showing how she makes a book. And it's like, okay, I know how to make a book, at least
Right.
digitally, and I know the concept of how to make a book physically. And it's like, and she was showing, what she was doing. It's like, I think I would like to do that because I have more than enough materials
Right.
here to make a handmade book. And she was using like a cereal box to make the cover. And I thought that was pretty neat. And it's like I would say probably 85% of the supplies that she has. It's like I just need a couple of little things. And it's like I think I want to put together some kind of sketchbook. And it's like, all right, what do I need? And I'm looking at her supplies, and it's like I've never had one of those, and I always kind of wanted to have one in the studio. That and an Ames guide. I gotta eventually get one just
I
to
have
have
one
one.
here somewhere.
Yeah.
But I'm thinking about getting a new one because I can't find it, even though I don't really use it. It's just fun to have around. I want to see if I can. I've opened my laptop behind my iPad just to
Uh-huh.
see. I want to go to Amazon to let you know the name of a book that I just put on my wish list that a friend of one of my fellow teachers is making about how to make how to physically put together zines. Not that I don't know how to do that, but she's got all sorts, or he's got all sorts, I forget what it is, different ways to do it and how to do. Oh, it's named what is this? Zine making and bookbinding: a beginner's guide in 25 projects by Lauren Simkin. And it's coming out in a month. It's not out yet, I don't think. I think it's on pre. It might be coming out in a month or two. Let me click on it to see when it says it's out. Uh, Wednesday, April 29th. So soon. So if you're looking for a book, oh, DuckDuckGo wants to allow accessory to connect. Oh, is it not connecting? I don't know. I don't trust this computer. Okay, trust. Oh, enter what? Now it wants me to enter a passcode. Oh, what passcode? Uh,
Ignore all
oh,
that. Install Linux.
whew. Yeah, right. Yeah, because that's gonna make things simpler. Yeah, sure. And anyway, don't buy a $36 bone folder like Tit Goblin did.
Yeah.
Uh,
Speaking of things that cost $36 when they shouldn't, everything I've seen of Dork so far is that it's actually a very interesting book to entice children into start reading comics.
yeah.
And
I-
the dumb FOMO afflicted are making sure it's getting turned into a $500 book.
yeah, but at
Uh-huh.
least they keep making printings of it. He just got fourth
Yeah,
printing,
I got
third printing.
I got
So they're
third
trying to
and
make it available.
Yeah, because
yeah.
when we
So,
finally have something that allows our little direct market corner of the world of comics, that allows us to connect with the mainstream, the first thing we do is shoot ourselves in the foot.
Now our clocks have gone back. You're on 2 whole hours earlier. Wow, Captain
Mm.
Finity. I don't know. I don't know what country he's living in. That we're 2 hours earlier. I think we
Captain
shouldn't
Finity
we be regular?
is living outside. Captain Finity lives outside time.
Ah.
It's always 2 hours earlier for him.
do Jared, do you have another image book in your pile of new books you bought?
Yeah.
Is the logo the same size on the Dork books?
Let's see.
Because I'm realizing the corner box art for Image and
Oh, this is yeah.
Skybound are
It's
tiny.
smaller on the Dork book. I think they changed the size sometimes. Yeah, it is smaller on the Dork book than on Spawn.
Yeah, because it looks like, because it's been a while since I looked at an IDW book, but it's tiny. Dynamite's
Yeah.
tiny. Boom is tiny. I don't know when everyone went down a size.
well, Spawn didn't,
realizing
but
that.
maybe because it's Todd McFarlane, so
Yeah.
Spawn's still up at the old big size, but he's
Okay.
got no corner box art in it. So
Right.
But it never did.
It's just some not straight. Yeah, it's strange. It's something strange that like when did they decide to shrink that?
but there's the
Or
latest
decide to put it out?
Spawn. Let me
Okay.
show you this one. McFarlane and Booth are still doing this. I read something. There's a new creative team coming on, and it's what's his Malbolgia, the Spawn's creator, and the biggest devil is back. And I think he died in Spawn 100. They noted in this, and Spawn is fighting him.
Okay.
So typical issue of Spawn. Lots of angels and demons and blood. The vampire is in this one fighting
Funny
Malbolgia
thing
too.
with Malevolgi coming back, that in the latest Youngblood, that demonic version of Chapel also came back.
Ah.
Oh, they're probably secretly tied together, and that's a big twist.
Rob is doing a compressed version of everything that ever happened in Youngblood in one book. Well, he's compressing everything that he ever did with Youngblood and X-Force in one book.
Sounds exhausting.
Well, all of a sudden you have 25 new characters walking in and then walking out, which is something that Rob does a lot.
Speaking of 25 new characters, I was reading Comics the Magazine. And they have a new, who's it? Joe Casey, Robert Kirkman are writing it. I can't remember. Terminal, I think is the name of it. Terminal.
I think it
Okay.
is.
And who's drawing it? Art Adams.
Art Adams?
One of the Kuberts. I forget which Kubert, and they're gonna have rotating artists. Like for each story arc, I think he'll be a different artist and maybe a different writer. And they were talking. I thought it was interesting. They're comparing it to, they're calling it sort of an X-Men like book with a huge cast of characters. But they were like, none of these artists are going to be like, in order to get it out monthly. They were like, they wanted to work with these artists, and none of them are going to do a monthly book, so they're rotating the.
Okay, so it's written by Kirkman and Casey with art by Andy Kubert, David Finch, and Art Adams. Yeah. So we got three guys there that all three together can't pull a monthly book.
Right. Put them together, and they can all do 4 issues a year.
At least have John Romita Jr. do layouts for them. It's a joke, but it's actually serious, because one thing that JR Jr. knows how to do fast is layouts.
Yeah.
In fact, that's how we managed to do 3 books a month back in the 80s. He was only doing layouts, and the inker did all the heavy lifting.
Al Williamson partnered with him, right? He did a lot of stuff with him.
Yeah.
He's a good guy to do finishes.
and then Green, his collaboration with Dan Green on the X-Men, made that. That's what made that book stand out in our terms after Paul Smith, because the first few issues that J.R. Jr. drew, I think one was Joe Rubinstein. There's one that's actually inked by Romita Sr. and Dan Green only starts after that. But then Green was a great pair, because Green was one guy who has an interesting style, but is also very meticulous. So he's not fast at all. But you pair him with J.R. Jr., who is a good storyteller, and Green can do can pick up all the detail he wants, because all of the movements already been done.
Captain Finity, I inked J.R. Jr. for the Marvel tryout book. Oh yeah, I remember that. Yep. I remember trying that out and realizing how terrible I was.
Al Williamson was the one that made J.R. Jr. do all those lines that go everywhere.
Yeah.
Yeah, because that's how Williamson inked. It is also because of that story arc where Daredevil goes to hell.
Ah.
So
Oh, yeah, I
so it's
remember that one.
J.R. Jr. redesigning Mephisto and Blackheart showing up, and there's an issue where Daredevil falls or has to no he has to climb a giant mountain of ice, and so there's no actual backgrounds, but it's all and that's why when Klaus Jensen inked him on Man Without Fear, it kind of looked it's a follow up of the style that J.R. Jr. had done in the regular book.
Oh, Captain Finity showed J.R. Jr. the results for an autograph at Forbidden Planet, London. And judging from the look John gave me, my winking wasn't all that in a bag of potato chips. I had that same experience showing Joe Cupert some of my work when I was young. Whew. I knew it was. I knew it was bad when he didn't really know what to say. That's how you can tell something's really bad. You're like, oh. Jim Mooney and Jr. and Amazing Spider-Man in 1982 was stunning, in my opinion. Okay.
Yeah, because and here's the funny thing: when Jim Mooney and Al Williamson, both guys from the 50s, were great on the new guy.
Right.
And it's an interesting marriage because Al Williamson as that Bollywood type style that's inspired by comic strips, but Jim Mooney, his own penciling is much simpler. So it's the marriage with J.R. Jr. When he's just launching his career is a was a pretty interesting art style that looked modern and dynamic, and it's interesting when you look at the ingredients that make it that it looks so modern.
A lot of people don't like J.R. Jr.'s art these days, I've noticed. There's starting about 10, 15 years ago, a lot of people started really not liking his art. I've always liked it, but
I've always liked it. I've watched him go through so many different changes,
Mhm.
yeah.
and there was this weirdness in the 80s that was like, okay, he was finding himself, and it was interesting to watch an art style develop. And
His stuff started out fairly mundane.
yes,
Dazzler.
And his inkers really helped him out, like Bob Layton on Iron Man.
Mhm.
So he and like the ones you mentioned before in the 80s, he really had inkers
Mhm.
that helped him out.
Who was his inker in Dazzler? Because that was it Vinnie Coletta?
I don't remember at all.
Because
no,
if it was Vinnie,
I don't think I ever got any of his Dazzlers.
And he was gone from Dazzler pretty quickly, wasn't he?
yeah, yeah, yeah. Didn't he have to do a Contest of Champions? Was it him?
I don't remember. Who did he do the cover of Dazzler #1? Or was that a painting? Can't
Dazzler
remember.
one was, I think, a painting.
I vaguely remember it being good, but
I'm almost sure Dazzler #1 was a painting.
Alfredo Alcala.
On JR Jr.?
Football King says. I guess so on Dazzler. I don't remember.
Wow. Yeah. That doesn't. I haven't read those stories in ages because they were published in Captain America way back in, like 40 in the Brazilian Captain America 40 years ago.
I just remember being very disappointed by first 2 issues. Okay. I just remember being very disappointed by Dazzler because even in those days, they were like, "Oh, we need more female superheroes." Da 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 da. Let's try. And I was like, "Oh, cool. You know, I'm down with more female superheroes. Why not?" And so they kind of hyped Dazzler a lot. Then you see ads for it everywhere. And the first 2 issues by Romita Jr. and Alfredo Alcala were pretty good. They at least looked good. But then who took over after him? Jim Mooney or someone? And they were just pedestrian after that. And you're like, you know what? They're not even trying to put their best people on Dazzler. They don't really care about, and making a new female superhero or whatever. That was all just high. That's how, what was that,
Maybe if the
1981? That's how
yeah,
15-year-old Jared stopped listening to the hype.
but maybe if the movie they were doing a run, it had gotten off, but it didn't.
Yeah.
So all you're left
I
was
think that project. From everything I heard about, I think that project just kept crashing to the
Frank
point where it's like,
Springer.
okay, we got to put out the comic. Bob Larkin did the
Oh,
cover.
okay. I remember that being pretty good. The cover was nice. Frank's.
And
you don't put Frank Springer on your book if you want it to be a hit.
And they have 3 artists credited for pencilers and 3 inkers credited. So you got John Romita Jr., John Buscema, and then John Romita Sr.
Ah.
Then you have Alfredo, Bob McLeod, and John Romita did the inks.
Okay, so probably Senior did hard corrections like he used to.
Right.
And it says there's the main story and flashback, so that's probably the extra
okay. So maybe
artist.
someone did the flashbacks. Flashback. Don't believe the hype. Don't believe the hype. That's right. Stopped believing the hype.
But regarding why people started hating JR Jr. now, 10, 15 years ago, when he was on Captain America, I remember some little kid who started reading comics and 5 years before. Said, this art is so ugly.
Yeah.
Gary Frank on the cover of Superman is much better. And then, dude, the guy showed a picture. It was a picture of Sharon Carter talking to Cap, and because at the time they took the time to erase the speech from the scanned pages, so they wouldn't show on the video. So all we're seeing is the art, and the body language on Steve and Sharon is very, very good. You can tell that they're very friendly with each other, that they've known each other for a long while, even if they're just standing around and talking. And then he says that no, Gary Frank is so much, and it's a Gary Frank pose of Superman flying. It's like that typical, I'm Superman, I'm flying.
When Gary, what was the name of that robot book Gary Frank did in the Jeff Johns universe they got now? There was I forget what the name of it was. GI. It was like a soldier robot thing. That was the most expressive Gary Frank work I've ever seen. He actually did a really nice job. I was like, wow, he's got gesture and expression in these drawings. Like you said, mostly Gary Frank drew very stiffly. Well, but stiffly.
It's kind of ridiculous because the early Gary Frank, when he's still trying to copy Alan Davis, it's not bad. He's getting there. But then when he starts getting good, he starts to emulate Steve Dillon. But he doesn't know how to do Steve Dillon, because Steve Dillon also has the same poses and the same faces everywhere, but everything looks different, which is something that only
Joe.
Right.
That was the comic that Gary. That's the best Gary Frank work, I think. Greetings, Entropy Comics.
And that's something that Steve Dillon's sameness.
Yeah.
That actually makes everything. That's actually expressing something that only Steve Dillon knew how to do.
Right.
And there was a lot of. You could tell that Gary Frank spent years trying to imitate him, and all he did was do that stiff thing that everybody knows him for.
Yeah. Junkyard Joe is part of the Geiger universe. Yeah, that's the Jeff Johns continuity. Captain Finity says flashbacks, almost as good as a framing device for completely breaking immersion and story flow. Ghost Machine, yeah, I think that's the name of the. I got out of. I bought some of the early stuff, but I've abandoned most of the Jeff Johns stuff because of Randy Gentile. Oh, I have some original art to show you this week.
Oh,
Hold on.
Oh, what do you got?
And a story. This is in the 90s. My friend Ed Murr did a comic for Marvel. He did some of it. This is The Illuminator.
oh,
Oh,
Marvel's
wow.
version of Spire Comics.
This was a Christian custom comic. And this also has, where is it? It's got somewhere, there's Renee Witterstatter's autograph. There's Ed's autograph up top. And there is Mike DiCarlo's autograph down the bottom. By the way, is this showing up right? Is the writing not mirrored on, because it's mirrored on my
No,
It is
screen.
correct here.
Okay,
Yeah.
as long as it's correct there. But there's a story behind this in that I forget when this is from. The early 90s, maybe?
93, 94. That's when the Nelson line, because they have Illuminator was their superhero, and I think there's 3 issues of that. Then there's
Yeah.
also two one-shots starring Jesus, and two novel adaptations.
Well,
Something called In His Steps, and the other one was a C.S. Lewis book.
Ed sold this, I don't know how long ago, a long time ago. He sold this to a guy who was a fan, loved the Illuminator. He was a Christian. He obviously went around and got it autographed by Renee Witterstatter and Mike DiCarlo eventually. And this one, the Renee Witterstatter one says 2019 and the Mike DiCarlo one says 22. But the Ed Murr autograph is faded. It's like they're starting to brown. So the guy must have had it for a long time. And Ed figures the guy loved this page. Ed sold it to him for like $100 or something, whatever. But Ed's like, he must have died because Ed was going through heritage auctions like he often does. And he saw this page up there. And he couldn't believe how little it was going for. So he was so embarrassed by how little it was going for that he bought it himself. And then he was like, I don't even know what I want to do with it. I don't want the page. I was like, well, give it to me. I'll put it in my collection. I think it's a pretty good page. Nice drawing.
It is a good page.
But he's
Yeah.
like, oh, he was like, oh, you can put it with Bunch's AIM agent. I was like, yeah, why not?
Something
So
that I'm not familiar with is how did Marvel come up with that deal to do that thing? Because
I just feel occasionally someone would come to them and throw them enough money to make a custom comic. So they'd assign an editor to it, and the editor would assign an editor and a budget, and they'd make a comic. That's all it was.
Was Mort Todd involved? I think he did one
Mort
of the
Todd? No, it was Renee Witterstatter was the editor. I mean, Mort could have been involved at something. No, 93, I think that's too early. He would have been involved later if he was doing something like this. But yeah, and like I said, someone just said, hey, let's make I don't know why more people haven't done that over the years. Probably because, they don't want to, but they don't know they can do it.
Mort Todd did came out in June 94. He did finishes for the Screwtape Letters, which is an adaptation of a C.S. Lewis novel.
Oh, okay. So he was actually an artist on it, not an editor.
Yeah, no. He's credited as editor on that one, but not on the other ones, I think. So Pilgrim's Progress. Progress. Who's Hildy Mesnick?
Hildy Mesnick? She
was
is an editor. Married to Tom DeFalco now.
Yeah, she was the editor of Barbie.
Yeah.
Books like that.
Okay, so she edited this one shot. This is probably the first Nelson comic. Pilgrim's Progress has a December '92 cover. It's got art by a guy from Finland.
Huh.
Then the Life of Christ Christmas story and Easter story came out a couple of months later, right around the same time as the Illuminator. And those are edited by Glenn Hurt. The Jesus Christ
Herdling.
books are edited by Erdling, and Illuminator is edited by Rob Tokar.
Rob Tokar?
Yeah.
I know it was Renee who hired Ed on this, so maybe she was on by issue 3.
Okay, so, yeah, she's listed as editor of in His Steps, which is a adaptation of a Charles Sheldon novel. But these are all Christian comics.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But this page with shipping and buyer's premium cost Ed $58.17. Guess what the final Hammer price was? Which is just the art. So out of $58.17, how much do you think the art cost?
$15.
Close. 10.
And
So Ed bid $10 on his own page just because he was so embarrassed that it was going for so low. So now I have it in my collection, and I'm happy to have it. I like it.
Yeah.
And I also think Mike DiCarlo did an excellent job inking this. Very nice, clean look to it.
Mike DiCarlo was Dan DiCarlo's son, yes?
I don't know. I have no idea what they're. I have never once thought of it, except that I confuse their names. Entropy Comics is a Jeff Johns fan. He's a buddy of his. All right. Steve Dillon drawing laser and razor and actual press button for Warrior was top tier work. And okay, yeah, that was good stuff. Get a cheap Walmart for Target frame and hang that page on your wall. Yeah. I actually don't usually hang pages up because I like to pick them up and look at them. That and I don't have any wall space. That's part of the reason too.
Mhm.
I've got more pages than wall space.
No, he's not. Dan DiCarlo's sons are Dan DiCarlo Jr. and Jim DiCarlo.
Okay, just shares a last name.
Yeah.
Oh, here's another one. Tit Goblin says, I just ripped out a mini book from the 90s Marvel called Hydrators from Marvel Custom Comics. I haven't read it yet, but it's up there with that religious thing and that combo junk food Marvel book. Huh. Just sent Paulo the cover.
Okay, getting it.
Combo Man, written by Jim Kruger, and I believe drawn by Darren.
Oh. Yes, I've seen Darren post Combo Man before.
Yep.
Darren Auk was a fellow bullpenner and assistant art director under Michael Golden, and I think when Golden quit, he became art director for Marvel.
And he did plenty of the specialized book, because every now and then the artwork, when I was working there and the original art would come in, I would show up to him. It's like, you drew Applejack's comics, and every now and then, and every now and then I would like find them at comic book shops or conventions and get one just to have them sign it. It's like, why are you bringing these to me?
I've got some Darren artwork to show you a little later too. A little tease for you.
Oh, nice.
A surprise to me. What's Paulo looking up? He looks like he's looking something up.
Yeah, I'm downloading
The cover.
the cover. So let's.
How to figure out how to share the screen on this thing. Let's see.
No, that's not it. Because they shuffled the buttons around here after the last.
Yep, they shuffled everything around. I'm actually on the Google Chrome version. I was like, I'm on in the iPad. So the Marvel Comics are promoting fluoridated drinking water. Let's see. There's another one. Let's add to stage. There we
you
go. Hydrators.
Kids water
Oh.
hydrators, because it's advertising kids water.
I haven't seen
Kids
that
with
one.
a Z.
Yeah, because
How come hydrators doesn't have a Z?
yeah,
They're not very hip.
yeah.
Copyright
And who drew
laws?
that?
I don't know.
Okay, let's check. So that's a 4-issue miniseries, 8 pages per comic. So yeah, those were given out with the bottles or cans or whatever.
They couldn't cut that guy's hand in front of the logo?
It's written by Michael Stewart. Who's that?
I have no idea.
And art is by Al Milgrom and Al Gordon.
Ah.
I'll tell you why
Kids
they
water.
couldn't cut that logo, because that wasn't a logo made in house. That
Yeah,
was a logo created by those people, and the design probably had to hand over it, and those guys are probably like, no,
yeah.
because
That's not happening.
the logo's even going over the corner box,
Oh
yeah,
and you can't shrink it anymore because you got to be able to read that hideous type
right.
underneath hydrators. So that was created by someone who doesn't read comics.
Doesn't do comics. Yep.
Doesn't do comics. Yeah.
Issue number 3 was drawn by Steve Butler.
And there was more than one issue. Ooh.
There are 4 issues.
Ton.
Yeah, there are 4 issues, 8 pages each. The first 2 are by Al Milgrom, and the last 2 are by Stephen Butler.
Tit Goblin says we probably all have this mini. It was in a ton of stuff.
Yeah, and they put on the cover to number 3, the heat is on. Heat being the bad guys. It's an acronym.
I'm assuming chill is an acronym too. A sudden chill.
No, it doesn't. It isn't.
Tit Goblin, cool mini, says Missing Mars.
All right.
And I'm going to guess it's lettered by Comic Craft, because those fonts look familiar.
It's Michael. It's Michael Higgins inside.
Michael Higgins. Probably the cover was probably Comic Craft.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because they lettered a lot of the covers and did a lot of design like this stuff.
So let's check. I don't have this. This was available as a free insert in the following Marvel Comics dated June 99. And it says A-Next number 9. Now, I bought A-Next number 9, and I did not get this comic.
Oh, somebody stole the hydrators out of your comic.
Somebody stole my hydrators. It's probably going for $500 now.
Yeah, yours isn't complete. If you
will
get CGC, it'll say incomplete, missing hydrators.
Did you at least get the Kool-Aid packs that were in comics in that time?
No, those are banned here.
Art side is decent. Yeah, Milgrom
and Gordon, yeah.
And Gordon they were solid artists. Nothing wrong with them. If you put them on Dazzler in 1981, it's not going to be a hit, but they were solid.
Well, Al Milgrom in 1981 was still pushing the envelope. Al Milgrom in 1985, when he starts drawing the Avengers West Coast, I think that's when he starts phoning it in.
Tit Goblin says, I stole it. We're even for the COD thing now.
Well, Portugal declares war on Newfoundland. Only on Newfoundland. We don't want to mess with those crazies from Alberta.
Just the goofy Newfies.
And it's only a 3-block radius that Tit Goblin lives in. So you're really just declaring war on the neighborhood?
Yeah. We are
They'll,
annexing.
they'll start throwing you issues of Hydrators to get you out. Here you go.
It's time for us to start charging a toll for the cod fishing. The price of cod will go up for you, but down for us.
So I read the first 2 issues of Pacific Comics
Ooh.
that replaced the bags too. They're from the 90s. Even though the Vanguard Illustrated. Issue 1 has this terrific Tom Yates cover. Just take a woman, make her really big, put a space building near her, and you got sci-fi. And the
Have we
second
looked at that
one,
cover before?
Yeah, you
Was
showed number
that
1
one of
last week.
our Reed Rip and Slab?
it could have been.
No, you already showed the first issue of Vanguard.
Yeah, I may have showed I recently picked up like the last issues of it, so I showed them.
Okay.
And this is a Dave Stevens cover,
Ooh.
pretty nice. And the first issue, I got to say, 3 stories and almost all of, and I think they were an A. Like this one has got some terrific Tom Yates artwork. Tom Yates and Rick Bryant. And Rick Bryant did a really good job inking them. Rick Bryant's a really sort of precise illustrator, inker. And he did just a real, and so it's kind of it was an interesting story with a weird ending, but with a nice picture. It's a story about like these sort of a James Bond-ish story, except in space. And this all the agents, men and women, have this special thing put in them that makes them irresistible to the opposite sex. So they use that in their spying. And then he somehow gets involved with this living planet where it says, oh, she's female, but she's immune to this thing. But then somehow at the end was a little confusing. I wasn't sure if the woman planet fell for him or not, but it ended with this really nice shot of a female on a planet, but terrifically drawn, well written. And then the next one is this really weird one. This is Barron and Rude, Mike Barron and Steve Rude, about a post-apocalyptic encyclopedia salesman. And it sounds like one of those ideas that you come up with at the bar as a joke, but then they made it into a comic. And it's guy has to sell encyclopedias after the apocalypse. Well done, but hard to believe it's real.
I think does one of those guys look like Vooper from Nexus? Remember Vooper?
I don't really think so.
No, but there was next. Can you show the next page?
Yeah. Oh, is that guy?
No, he doesn't look like Vooper.
He's
He
just
looks
giving
like
you those sort of cartoony speech stuff that he did.
he looks a little bit like a minor guy that they came up with for Clone Zone. He's Clone Zone's agent. But since Vooper is a snake oil salesman, probably it germinated from there.
And the third story is the very first story drawn by Brendan McCarthy, written by Peter Milligan, and it's Mad Max on water, but it's so well drawn. Post-apocalyptic. And the one thing I remembered from this issue was Mickey Death, the villain. Let me show you this final page. I remember this image. That's Mickey Death, the villain of the piece. But terrific. I mean, for a first comic, McCarthy did a fun job with it. And then the second issue had Bob McLeod, a really nice Bob McLeod drawn piece with a lot of cheesecake in it. because the characters are named the Star Grazers, not the Stargazers. The Star Grazers, as in, cows grazing on grass. And they're all women because, much like in the beginning of sailing, men were better suited for it. They found out that women were better suited for spaceships. That gave them an excuse to make an all-female cast who I swear is in like pillow fight uniforms the whole time. So lots of cheesecake and also dragons. It was a pretty good. The Bob McLeod art was terrific. And the dragons are also called star grazers. And they must have mentioned star grazers on every page at least once, if not twice. They name dropped star grazers like you'd forget it. And it's a terrible name. Then we get part 2 of the post-apocalyptic encyclopedia salesman. Once again, pretty well done, but so absurd. Here's the guy who says it's his territory. But here was the surprise to me. In 1983, we just mentioned before Darren Auk, our fellow bullpenner, and he had a story in here.
Oh, look at that.
A 3-page Darren Auk story in 1983. 1, 2, maybe 4 pages. Here we go. About this guy in the future hunting down an alien. This is who Wilson was just mentioning, drawing all those custom comics. That's such a Darren drawing right there, that
Is
monster.
definitely a Darren drawing. Yep.
I don't know if to take some pictures of this. And then it ends with the part 2 of 3 of the Milligan and McCarthy story, which I think they reprinted in 1 issue eventually. There's Mickey Death again. Where is he? Just such interesting visuals. He does I remember liking McCarthy's stuff right away, and I can see why. Whoops. But overall, first 2 issues, liked them a lot. First one, all 3 stories were A's to me. They were just really, this one, like the, maybe not A's, all of them are A's, but all of them are at least B's. And like I said, the Star Grazers, I really like the art, but the story was, I was just like, stop saying Star Grazers. So, first of all, Star Grazers is a terrible name. It's just hard to say, makes no sense. And it turns out they're star grazers because the dragon in the story eats suns, but only suns of uninhabited whatever. And somehow the dragon got hooked up with these chicks. There was the story behind it didn't make a lot of sense to me. But they refueled their ships by going near a sun and, I don't know, taking the corona or something, a little bit of. So therefore, they were the star grazers too. And oh my God, stop saying star grazers. Stop saying star grazers. Somerset Holmes, that was a good one. Brent Anderson.
Mm-hmm.
I enjoyed Somerset, but
I'm not sure.
Nice
not sure
Dave Stevens cover.
I'm not sure if there's a complete trade paperback of that, because if there was, I'd love to have one.
Yeah, I don't know. I think there may have been one once.
Mm-hmm. Way back in the 80s.
Yeah. But yeah, Bob McLeod really did a nice job with this cheesecake drawing. Mm-hmm. He really, yeah. I think he was one of those guys who was just too slow for a superhero comic. Mm-hmm. So he was an inker most of the time.
Yeah. SBPT says it reminds them of P. Craig Russell. Do you think he's trying to do a P. Craig Russell? I'm not entirely sure, but it's not. It's better than usual McLeod at Marvel. That's for sure. But
I don't know if looking at it, it really reminds me of P. Craig Russell, except for the fine line.
Yeah, and the coloring too.
Yeah, the coloring is
Very yellow. Yeah, but it's Bob McLeod. I think he's doing a lot more detail there than he usually does,
and he's drawing all outfits on them. Let me see if I can get another one. Each one has an individual outfit, even if it's lingerie. I mean, that looks a little Frazetta-like in her hair. I wonder what stuff he was looking at. Because I've never seen McLeod draw this much cheesecake. So
if he looks like something, he looks a bit like Dave. Those costume designs look a bit like Dave Cockrum.
Yeah, they look a little like the splash page looks a little like Dave Stevens, who did the cover. So I mean, they probably because they're all in the same outfits, doing the same thing, trying to get onto a spaceship under fire. That could have something to do with it too. Yeah, those are great covers. They really are. Pillow fights. Now you're talking.
Yes.
Hydrators, Michael Stewart story, Al Milgrom pencils, Al Gordon inks, Paul Mounts color, Michael Higgins letter, Steve Bailing editor. I don't remember Steve Bailing at all.
That name does not sound familiar at all.
Lacking meaning and hard to say. My kind of title. Star Grazers. I was just like the whole time. I'm like, stop it! Stop making me read Star Grazers. Stop with the title.
What if they were called Star Munchers?
Could have named it that. But so far, really enjoying Vanguard Illustrated. Reading it for the first time since, like these are the 2 issues. I think I had the first 4 issues, but I haven't read them since the 80s. Since the 80s. And those are 2 terms my students don't know: cheesecake and beefcake. I remember I told it to them, another group of students about 2-3 years ago. I said cheesecake, and they were like, "What?" I'm like, oh, I guess
It's an art style that they don't know.
Yeah. Captain Finity. My book's full title is Captain Finity, Eins Doppelganger zu viel. I don't. How's your German, Paolo?
Eins Doppelgänger zu viel. Zu viel. The Z is pronounced Z, and the V is pronounced F, like an F. The F is also pronounced like an F. So they have the F and the V.
I can't do a read, rip, and slab tonight because I'm not on my laptop. For some reason, my laptop would not give me any sound. At least in StreamYard, it would give me sound everywhere else. So I had to switch over to my iPad. So we'll have to do some of those next week because I got a whole bunch of them. A whole bunch of them. Oh, did you see all the artwork that was stolen from Mark Evanier?
Yes, I did.
Holy cow.
Including some complete stories.
Translation: 1 clone too many, more or less. Okay. Yeah, all that. It was like, whoa. A workman in his house stole. It looked like there was 100 pages that got stolen.
Somewhere along that line, yeah.
Yeah.
He had made a list as he's been modifying the list, and it's like just completely wild. And it's obviously there will be people out there who would want to buy that stuff, but who knows if this guy even had someone to sell it to. And it's wild because, again, the amount of pages, the amount that they're worth, that's grand theft, pretty much. And it's like, so who knows if, who knows if he had someone to sell them to, or if he was just going to a local place to sell it. Who knows?
That was 50
It's like it's
grand worth of
wow.
artwork minimum.
At least, yeah.
I'd a guess that would, because there were like Kirby stuff from the 60s
Yeah.
and covers of things. If I had the list in front of me, I'd go over it, but I'm stuck here on my iPad.
I had shared it. Let me see if I can.
Yeah, I put it on
pull it
our
up.
group chat in Facebook, so it's there too. But I was just amazed at, I shouldn't be amazed at how much stuff he had. But every time I see someone say, oh, so-and-so gave me this as a gift, I'm like, kickback. When you're giving your editor artwork, it's a kickback. It's not a gift. I knew a friend of mine when he was
Captain
art
America
director.
112.
Captain America 112, cover or insides?
Okay. It looked like a cover, but it might be a splash page. Page
Ah,
13.
oh, you even have,
So there are pages here.
yeah, there.
Huh? Okay. So Action Comics 282 is a Supergirl story from 1962. Is page number 2. The cover
Yeah.
to it. Adventure Comics 393 cover. I'm only going
Wow.
by the list he put, so I don't know who did the art or anything like that.
Right,
So
right. You're just
uh,
giving us an idea.
it's the issue number, the date, page number, and then there are some notes like Amazing Adventure number 4, page 1 says Black Widow. Amazing Spider-Man annual number 5. So page number 52.
Wow.
Aquaman 23, page number 22. Aquaman 45 is the cover. The Atom number 2, page 10, which comes from the second story. The Atom number 11, page 11, second story. And then, okay. Something froze
That's
on my
just the
computer.
A's.
Oh, yeah. The Avengers number 26, the cover.
Oh, yeah, I looked that one up.
I
I
don't know
was
if
like,
that's a
oh.
Kirby cover or not.
No, I think it was a Don Heck cover. It may have been.
Oh, okay. The Avengers number 50, page 7, 15, and 19.
Wow.
The Avengers number 111, page 27. Batman 144, page 9. Brave and the Bold, page 1. I'm sorry, Brave and the Bold, page 14. Sorry, Brave and the Bold, issue 14, page number 1.
Wow. It's an early one.
Yeah, so this just and those are just in the B's. So
Right.
their artwork here from 1957, artwork here from 1979. It is all over the place too. 1960s.
Yeah. Scroll down to the F's and see what Fantastic Four is.
Okay, Avengers, Captain America, Daredevils, DNA agents. Okay, Fantastic Four, issue number 84, pages 1 through 20. So it's the complete story. Issue number 87, the cover. Issue number 275, page 12. Fantastic Four annual number 1, page 33. And that's it on the Fantastic Four. 1, 2,
And I
3,
think he
4.
even one of the
Fantastic
ones
Four.
he has Crossfire and Crossfire and Rainbow. Is it Crossfire? I can't even
Yes.
remember.
Crossfire and Rainbow, issue number 4, cover.
That's the one that's the Dave Stevens Elvis cover. Not as valuable as the Marilyn Monroe cover, but a valuable one because it's got Elvis. It's got
Right.
Dave Stevens drawing Elvis on it. So it's like, whoa, he's got a lot of stuff. Captain Finity says, warning,
Oh yeah.
repeat, callback. The thought that a new universe got created because a sarcastic comment got taken seriously. That idea was born here and I'm running with it. that was my thought on what's the
Iron.
mechanism for creating an alternate universe. I get sarcastic comment could be one. In one universe, someone takes the sarcastic comment seriously, in the other universe, doesn't.
Mhm. That there are
Exactly.
consequences.
Yeah.
Uh,
There are consequences to my sarcastic comments.
Some may be serious
how
consequences, but some
universes
will
are
be funny
created and
consequences.
destroyed. Tales of Suspense, issue number 73, first 12 pages.
Wow. Wonder
Tales
if
to
that's Captain
Astonish,
America or
number
Iron Man. Must be Cap, because it's Kirby.
Iron Man story.
Iron Man story. Okay, not Kirby.
Tales of Suspense, 72. Iron Man story. Tales of Tales of Suspense, issue 80, pages 6, 8, and 9. That's the Captain America story. Tales to Astonish, number 38, pages 1 through 10. It's an Ant-Man story.
I wonder if he bought any of those stolen pages from Roy Thomas at the convention those couple of years in the late 60s. Because where
I
else would
don't
you get
know.
pages like that? I know that the Marvel Method group looked up that Fantastic Four 84, and they were not among the pages that were returned to Kirby.
Right.
So they were definitely stolen pages at one time. Even though technically they're not stolen anymore because they can't establish ownership.
Right. It's hard to establish ownership when the players in the company sold it. Did
Yeah.
they sell it for the company to see if these were worth anything, or
Yeah,
for
there's
themselves?
all
I
sorts
don't
of
know.
problems with establishing ownerships to call them stolen.
Yeah.
Legally, that is. Morally, we know they were stolen.
Right. And then, so all these pages, and it's like breaks my heart to read about this type of thing. I was there when the Marvel art was stolen from me, and it's like the only good, the saving grace for that was like they allowed me to put it all over the internet. These
Ah,
following pages were stolen.
okay.
Before that, it was always don't tell anyone artwork was stolen.
Yeah.
you know. But I do have to give credit to Bob Harris for letting me go. Let me put it on all the forums. Let me put it,
Mm-hmm.
again, early internet, and I let every art rep know that the
Yeah.
following artworks was stolen, and it ended up being all sold to one comic book shop. And the comic book shop called up and says, "Hey, I think I have your artwork." And that poor guy spent a lot of money, but I guess the time period has passed. They Marvel was able to like give him like a store credit type of thing since he owned a comic
Okay.
book shop, and he's like, "Look, I didn't know these are stolen. I'm calling you up. Here's what I have." And he basically, Marvel at least was like, "Here's some of your money back," but
What
in credit,
credit?
yeah, kind of thing, because it's like there's not really much else they could do for the guy, but since he was good enough to send everything
What
back.
was that the one that was stolen by the artist whose name I don't remember? He was
Yes,
nobody. Yeah.
yes, yes. It was all, and turned out everything that ever stolen during my watch
Uh-huh.
was through him, was by him.
Uh,
So because I remember the very first thing that was stolen from me, and sure enough, it was in that pile. And it's like,
ah.
son of a gun, it was stolen from the beginning. So, It wasn't a violent crime,
Nah.
so he did spend time in jail. He was supposed to pay a fine, and that's basically what happened with that. And the artwork came back to me, and I got to go through it all and see. Oh, there's a ton of stuff from DC Comics. So contacted DC to send them the artwork that they had missing back.
Wow.
But again, it's like, and then you read something like this, and it's like, and I'm glad in the sense that we're reading this off the internet. The information's
Yeah.
out there.
Yep.
There's a list. It just tells you to
No,
make sure you document all the stuff you have. Because all the comic book art I have, I haven't documented any of it.
I've
But I should
documented all
make my
mine,
list.
so I have scans of everything.
Yeah,
Huh.
nice.
Captain Finity says, at least with digital art, there's no originals to steal. Or if you're an old school analog artist, you can scan your art and keep the original. Yeah, that's what goes on. And that also, to me, puts an end to the idea of who owned the artwork in the 60s. The artist did. It was just that it was inconvenient for Marvel and DC to return it. Because now, when it's inconvenient to Marvel or DC to collect the physical art, they don't even want to. They're like, just send a scan. They don't care. So that makes
Yeah,
me see, but they never bought the artwork. They bought it was just something they, like I said, it was inconvenient for them to return. And then once this goes for humanity, once somebody has something, it is difficult to get it away from them. Doesn't matter if they want it or not. That's just human nature for some reason. So I think that had a lot to do with it too. I don't even think it had as much to do with, oh, they didn't want the artist to have it because they wanted the artist to be more dependent on them. I don't even think that was a thought in anyone's head. They didn't want to pay money to return this to an artist. They didn't want to pay Wilson or the Wilson's equivalent in the 50s and 60s to return the art. They didn't want to do that. And
right.
like I said,
It
and then
wasn't.
they had it and they're like, no, it's mine. Once they had
It
it in their
was like
possession, they're like,
again
no, it's
the
mine. You
things
can't
that
have it.
yeah, all the things that I've heard being there was like, the artist didn't want it because it's like they didn't care because it
That's
wasn't worth
nonsense.
anything. Again, this is what I'm
Yeah.
hearing, that a lot of
Oh,
these
I've heard the
guys came
same
from
thing. I've read it and
yeah, a lot
heard
of
it
these
over
guys
and
came
over.
from advertising, and the advertising guys never sent it back. And it's like,
You've
yeah,
also
well,
heard of
because
plenty
this
of
guy
artists
is doing
who
it, that
made
doesn't mean
sure
they
they
are.
collected it. Yeah. You,
Yeah,
you also heard of plenty who were like, I want it back. And
so
they're
it's
like,
like
no.
there's so many stories.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And a
it's
lot of them, I
insane.
think,
It's like,
didn't want it
yeah,
back because they couldn't have it back. It was sour grapes. It was like, well, if I don't can't have it back, then I don't want it. That's just the mindset you have to survive. Because artists who
right.
could get their artwork back kept it.
Yeah, a lot of them did, and then there were artists that did so much work they had no place to put it, and they just
Yeah.
left it at the office.
Yeah.
That was the way it was with Howard Post.
Right.
That there was tons of his artwork there because he said, well, one time he told me, he's like, yeah, I have no place to put it.
Right.
It's like, that's fine, but you got to get it out of here. You should have it.
You can
You
sell,
know?
an art dealer will take it from you and store it.
Yeah, and I had, I've had calls where it's like, can you recommend an art dealer? I was like, well, here are the ones that I, you know, deal with all the time, and they went out. Only one really disliked his art dealer, and it's like, okay, it's technically not my fault. I just made suggestions, but I had an artist who was really upset of the art dealer, that he picked, and you get the other side of the story, and the art dealer's like, yeah, I tell him all the time, send me some art. He says he needs money. I tell him to send me art, and he doesn't send it. So it's like, okay, are you upset with your art dealer because he's trying to give you money and you're too lazy to send it back? And as you said, once they have it,
Yeah.
you know, Crazy.
Here's a question I have, Paolo especially.
Mhm.
I was discussing with one of my fellow teachers was giving me a link to a lecture. She's not really a comic person, but give me a lecture, a link to a lecture from a bunch of uh, comic cartoonist people, giving a lecture.
Mhm.
And I didn't know a single one of them. She's like, "How do you not know this person? How do you not know this person?" I'm like, "You don't understand how niche comics, because they were all publishers. They were all like book publisher
Right.
artists." I'm like, "That's a whole other niche." And she's like, "Well,
Yep.
this one's like does young adult stuff." I'm like, "I certainly don't know young adult stuff. Why would
Yep.
I?" And then she
Also,
said,
professional illustrators in the current day and age never get famous.
"No." And especially like these guys who she's like, "Oh, then you must not know the real indie guys." And I was like, "These guys aren't indie guys." I'm like, I know all the indie guys. These guys, if you're working for a major book publisher, you're not an indie guy.
No.
You're not making
The-
any money. These guys, even though they're working for, the big publishers, they're probably selling 4,000 copies of their book, and they're not making a ton of money unless you're, what's her name, Rega Telemeyer? What's her name?
Yeah, Raina
She,
Telgemeier. Yeah,
Raina,
but
there we go.
but you know how it is. The top-selling book sells 1.5 million. The second one sells 100,000. The third one sells 10,000, and everything else sells 1,000 or
Right,
less.
right. So I'm like, that's why I don't know these guys. Because, like I said, and I'm like, you probably have never heard of any of the guys I know because comic books are so niche. And she's
Mhm.
like, well, not everyone's Alex Ross. I'm like, Alex Ross is niche in the culture. In
Mhm.
comic books, he's well known, but in the culture, nobody knows who Alex Ross
Right.
is. And then she said,
And Alex Ross is his popularity is from that one thing that one time.
yeah.
It was a
And
very
like,
good thing, but it was a very good thing, but it was well twice. But
and then she mentioned one of the guys, like, oh, he's a comics historian too. And I was like, no,
no, no, no,
there,
no, 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 no.
there's no such thing.
Right.
Everybody knows their little niche of comics. I guarantee you, he couldn't tell you the first thing about Max of the Regulators. One of my favorite 1986 black and white boom comics. It's like nobody there's people who call themselves comic historians, but they're not really. They're if you know if you know the history of Spider-Man, you're not really a comics historian. You just know the history of If you know the history of Marvel, you're not really a comics
Right.
historian.
That's why
I would say,
I
yeah,
call myself an amateur historian.
yeah, because there's no way anybody can keep track. I was like, you have a better chance of being a comic strip historian
Mhm.
because at least everything there was in a major newspaper.
Right.
But comic books, forget it.
Yeah.
Forget it.
Also, comic strips change less. They have fewer
Yeah.
shifts in creative teams.
Mm-hmm.
What you usually don't know is who was the ghost writer and the ghost artist,
Yeah.
but you pretty much know that it's the same guy doing the same thing for years.
Like he's a comics historian of whatever niche he's got.
Mhm.
Because that's just the way comics are. They're so neat. They're extremely broad and shallow, kind of like everything's its own niche.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Like, who do you think knows tons about, like, like I just mentioned before, the 1980s black and white boom? How many historians? That was a major thing in comics. How
Mhm.
many historians of the 1980s black and white boom are there? None.
Yeah, exactly. It's not something that comes up. I think there are more
No.
people interested in knowing the the backroom details of maybe First Comics and Eclipse Comics
Yeah.
than of the black and white boom.
Like
They like the turtles.
right. You'd have to figure out who those guys are who made all these little comics that were in black and white and came out for a few issues.
There's a channel I watch. The guy's called Hercules Paddox. He does a lot of stuff that's all over the place. He's probably the closest I can find to a story, and he likes all the guys from the 70s underground comic scene. But he's done a few
Yeah.
videos on stuff from the 80s, so he's probably the guy I know who knows the most about that era.
Yeah, underground comics, that's a whole other thing too.
Right.
Completely
Like
different.
there are
Yeah.
experts in underground comics.
And then, of course, there's the experts on Zep Comics, and then there's the experts on Larry Gonick, and then there's the experts on.
It's crazy how, like, if you're an expert on Spider-Man, you don't know anything about underground comics.
Right.
Yeah, and there's where, as you mentioned before, especially the 80s books, it's like, I saw a lot of them, but
Yeah,
I didn't buy a lot of them, and some were technically regional,
right.
Yeah.
and
I
there was,
bought a lot
and
of them, and it was still a small fraction.
yeah,
Hmm.
I bought a few, and then, I'm still discovering some stuff I wasn't aware of. Mike Wolfer's uh, Daikaiju books. I never knew that he put them out back in the 80s. Those I discovered probably 5 years ago.
Hmm.
It was like, oh, they weren't all that expensive to get. And it was like, but I would have bought these if I saw them at that
Hmm.
time period. And the only reason I even discovered them was not because of being a fan of comic books, it was being a fan of monster comics. All the kaiju stuff, being a Godzilla fan, where I stumbled onto those books um, online because I was just looking for, how many books based on giant monsters are there? And I was like just doing an investigation on that. And it was like, oh, I would have loved these when they came out.
Yeah.
And it's like, it's a good price point on it. They were black and white books, but they had interesting covers. And it's like, I never saw these in New York. I never ran into them. So again, it's one of those, it's wild of how
Right.
many things are out there.
It is.
Yeah.
Leonardo's Mona Lisa and Van Gogh's Sunflowers are copyright free for reproduction, but I stand the original artworks are worth something. They sure are.
Yeah, I'll settle for the 25th printing.
You haven't heard of the Bo Jeffries saga? Tourist.
Yeah, I've heard of both Jeffrey's Dog. I've never read it.
I have not.
Yeah. If I was looking for an expert on the '86 year black and white boom, I think Jim Rugg would be the guy to go. I would think of him too, but I don't think he just made videos about them because he and oh God, I forgot his name again.
Ed Piskor.
Ed Piskor were interested in them and
Yeah.
made videos about them, but I don't even know how much of he's interested in the history of them. Yeah, that's
Well,
mostly because he did that '86
well,
black and white.
both of them together seem to have a pretty good collection.
Yeah, yeah.
But you know how indie comics are. There's always one other that you haven't heard of,
Right.
which sold like
Especially from
100
that
copies.
period. I have a pretty good collection of stuff from that period too, but I'm hardly an expert, because there's so much that I haven't heard of. Surgeon Wilson, that's the lizard's new knee made out of.
So the
What's
lizard's
the lizard?
knee. So the lizard is a Mego action
Oh,
figure,
that's right.
an 8-inch action figure that I have, that I had gotten. The lizard itself is original, but his costume is a reproduction that I got from Doctor Mego years ago, over 10 years ago, if not probably 20 years ago now. And like some of the old Migos, the knees can get busted. So I actually ordered a replacement knee pin and was able to use that. That was just a reproduction. So that's what I was able to get. The only reason why I hadn't done the repair beforehand, it was just that I had to just get the knee pin. The knee pin is not that expensive. It's the shipping that's a bit much, that is overcharged, where this is something that is less than 2 ounces that can be
Yeah.
put into a padded envelope. It's like, why am I paying more for shipping So it's like, so I rather like buy a bunch of stuff from this one seller in bulk and at least save a little bit in shipping. So the knee is the knee that was broken got a new pin, and then the other knee started falling apart, and then I was able to use the same pin and just fix it. So both knees are working on the lizard now. I don't have them in this room. It's actually on my Mego shelf in the other room, but I was able to fix that. And for some reason, April has become Mego month for me because a bunch of stuff I ordered and got really good deals on have showed up. So I've been like fixing these things and making videos of them.
Huh. The Bo
And, you know,
Jeffrey saga was written by this guy, apparently called Alan Moore. I'll be watching his career with great interest.
but you know, a guy who knows everything about Spider-Man probably is a historian. Because here's the thing.
But he's a historian about Spider-Man.
Yes, but that's what historians
Yeah.
do. They focus on
Right.
one thing.
I'm just saying there's no such thing as a comic book
No.
historian.
Here in the car business, I know the names of thousands of racing drivers from over 100 years of racing, and tracks where they've been in championships where they were, the type of technical regulations that they use. You know what's an auto racing historian? It's a person who knows which panel beater was hired to create the bodywork for the 1957 Lotus 11. That's a historian.
John Rayner.
Ultra Klutz. There's how many issues of Ultra Klutz were there in the 80s?
17.
A whole lot.
I don't know.
No comics historian knows Ultra Klutz.
Right.
Despite
But
the fact that it was around.
Here's the thing: if Jim Roy were to do a book on all of the early indies from the 80s indie boom,
Right.
and published a book just about 1986, that would make him a historian, because that's what a historian actually does.
Right.
He focuses on that one thing. The idea that everybody knows everything does not exist.
The idea that there's a comic book historian is not real.
I mean, when I call myself an amateur historian, but what I do is, and it's because I'm a journalist, and that's how I think. I don't know everything. Yeah. What I know is a little bit of this and a little bit of that.
And so you know where to look it up.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And if somebody asks me, I can point them in the right direction. Right. Okay, hey, do you know this guy? Yeah, he wrote something like this in 1997, which people liked. Did you read it? No, but I've heard of it.
Yeah. Dr. Wilson, I'm sure the Lizard Man thanks you for the new knees. That's 62. Let's see. Here's another comic I got this week that I picked up off the shelf. Speaking of not knowing who somebody is, this is another one of those. Come on, I'm trying to make me bigger. Why is it not making? Oh, I just switched me and Paulo somehow. How come? There we go. It finally got me bigger. This is another Twilight Zone. And with this series, I really like this cover. They've been, here's our, I assume that's pronounced Nicole Go.
Goo.
But they've been giving each individual, like I think Tom Scioli did one that I missed. I got the, oh God, I forgot who did it now. I got one. They've been giving it to like an auteur who does the whole thing. And they give us a Twilight Zone story. And this one was pretty cool. I picked it up and liked her. I've never heard of her before. I liked her artwork. Reminds me of someone from the 90s whose name I can't remember right now, who did a book called Manya, who nobody knows. No comic historian knows the book Manya exists because it was small press and sold at conventions.
Okay, so Nicole Goo has a website, and she did something. So Pumpkinheads is the new one. She did something. You have the one with Mariko Tamaki, right? This place
no,
kills.
I got what's the other one? It was issue. It was the one with the Godzilla guys. 20th Century War. You know his name. I know his name. His name's the guy who drew the
The name
Godzilla.
is the name is escaping me.
Yeah, me too.
Uh,
James Stocco. There we go. James Stocco. I got the James Stocco one.
Yeah, but she's got a lot of stuff here. Most of this is from book publishers, I think.
Yeah, I've never heard of her before, so she's new to me, but I really liked the cover,
Yeah.
and it was a nice story.
Forest Hills Bootleg Society, written by Dave Baker. This was Simon & Schuster. Everyone is Tulip. This is by Dark Horse. She had a bet, one of those DC Young Readers graphic novels. She did one, Shadow of the Batgirl. Fuck Off Squad, also with Dave Baker.
But I'm glad they had a shelf copy of this, because
she did a one-shot, Star Trek one-shot for IDW. Gem and the Holograms. She's done quite a few things. Suicide Forest, Goodnight Honey, Handmaid's Tale Pursuit. Yeah, we're getting to the earlier stuff. But she's prolific. So I don't know how long she's been doing this, but
yeah, this is definitely one to get, though, if you want to check out her work. It's very good. Written, drawn, and lettered by Nicole Go.
Goo.
Goo. Where?
Goo.
Does it say where she's from?
California.
Oh.
But,
she may say Go, then. I don't know.
But Goo is a French name.
Yeah, I've never seen that name before. That's first for me.
Yeah, same for me.
I usually see like stuff like that in relation to the New Orleans Saints, like especially from Yancey Labatt. That people always write Go Saints, but spell it Geaux. Go Saints. So that's what I think of when I see it. But that was a good pickup this week. That was definitely one. I'm glad they had a shelf copy of it, and I could get it.
But there's a guy named Goo from France who was the first foreign winner of the Indianapolis 500 in 1913. His name was Jules Goo, and he drove a Peugeot.
And this, what was that? You want to show us something, Wilson?
Yeah, I was going to show a book that I picked up. I figured I got quite a few here.
Show us some.
So issue number 1 of Thundercats X Silverhawks. So I guess it's not Versus, it's X, which...
Yeah, I don't know what I've been trying to figure out what exactly... That X has become to mean not a word, but just an X. I'm like...
It started off as Versus, and then it eventually became and.
Yeah, it's like, it's weird.
And. So it's like, it's so you could almost say Thundercats with Silverhawks in it.
Yeah.
Or Thundercats versus Silverhawks.
I think designers just like X's.
I guess so. I don't understand where it comes from. I will have to look it up at some point. But I don't know if it's a new thing or something that's been going on.
Well, the first one I remember in comics was Avengers X-Men, Avengers versus X-Men, but it had the X in it, I think.
Right. So I'm wondering if it came from that.
Yeah, and right now, like I think it's out in the world too. Like FIT has a show going on because they got a poster up for it, and I walk past it. That's like Art X Image or something like that. Like Art versus Image, Art Worth. I don't know. I think it was Art and Image, but I can't even remember. But I was like, that was what made me think, oh, the X is out in the world too? What do they mean by that? I don't really know.
And so this is a story where the Thundercats meet with the Silverhawks, and Lionel is fighting the leader of the Silverhawks.
Sparks fly.
So sparks are flying. And then here's an ad in the back. So it looks like at some point they're going to either merge characters or they're going to maybe say that they were Thundercats, Silverhawks on Thundera, and they're called Thunderhawks. So some kind of merger is going on. But there you go, Thundercats versus Silverhawks.
Dun dun dun. Want to
Now,
give us another? What else you got?
yeah, this one I'm looking forward to. This is probably going to be the first book I read out of the group, but is Romeo and Juliet and Godzilla.
Oh yeah. I almost ordered that one. I just had too many comics for the week. And that one had a high price tag on it. So I was like,
Yes, it definitely does. It also has Godzilla and Robin Hood
Yep, by
by
Tom
our
Scioli.
buddy Tom Scioli. So let's show some pictures. So it looks like maybe he's in the middle of writing Romeo and Juliet when Godzilla shows up.
And 62 Lifty Blues says that Wilson, that book is written by the guy who wrote the shows. I assume the Silverhawks, the one that is.
Oh, okay. Most likely that's writer and artist Declan Shelby.
No,
Guess
he's
he was one of
no, he's a comic book writer. Declan
Oh, he
Shell.
is?
He's an artist too, but has been
Right.
writing stuff lately.
Okay, that's who it says is written in here by.
Okay.
So, oh, maybe that other one.
And Iren Zero says Romeo and Juliet and Godzilla was okay, and Godzilla and Robin Hood was great.
Oh, okay. Ooh, Mothra is appearing in this too.
Mataraya.
So it looks like they might be connecting Romeo and Juliet with Mothra and Godzilla.
Ah, the Montagues and the Capulets.
Capulets. Yeah, maybe. Oh, and because of the time period, it's a wooden Mega Godzilla. That's manned by a bunch of people. So this is going to be fun. Let's go. Let me skip over to because the Romeo and Juliet is a long story.
Yeah.
Here's some artwork from the Robin Hood one.
Tom Scioli. Nice. The Mecha Godzilla reminded me of there was a villain in like somewhere in the 200s, like like between maybe like 207, 208 and Hulk, called the Quintronic Man. And it was 5 guys and a giant robot, and they were all in bubbles, each controlling like a leg and arm. Right? I always loved that for some
That's
reason.
vaguely familiar. The Robin Hood story is not that long. It's only about 5 pages long.
Yeah. I think it was the only appearance of the Quintronic Man, so.
Was in that one issue?
Yeah. I don't think he ever made a comeback.
And since we're on Godzilla, here's Godzilla issue number 9.
Uh-huh. Nice cover on that one.
It's a really good cover.
I like the
it.
electric
I like
Godzilla. Yeah.
Yeah, that atomic green looks pretty cool. No idea what the story is, but I believe there's Rodan and Jet Jaguar.
And Tit Goblin says, Paulo, how do you pronounce Legros? I'm asking for a friend.
If that name's of French origin, that might not be the original spelling. Unless it's something from Alsatian, that's Alsatian, which means that it would actually have a semi-German origin. But I'd have to know. There are a few weird names that are regional because either you have the Bretons there, or you have the Burgundians there, and the Burgundians were not the same as the Franks.
Iren Zero says the Robin Hood story is chapter 1. There will be the next chapter in
Oh,
Godzilla
okay.
the Odyssey in June. Oh, they're making you get a lot of number 1s.
The Odyssey makes sense because there was quite a few monsters in the Odyssey. There could be Godzilla could have been the inspiration for any of the main big monsters in there. the sea monsters.
Comics progress. I think every historian is a niche to some extent. I consider myself a comic strip and comic book collector with some historical knowledge of American comics, not definitive. Yeah, that's about what I'd consider myself too.
Yeah, if you have to be a professional historian, you have to pick a niche, and you can't allow yourself distractions.
Yeah.
When you pick a niche so that you become the utmost expert on that particular thing, and you know everything about that thing. You're if you start, okay, now I want to know this and I want to know that, you end up like me instead of becoming an actual historian.
And there's no actual historian of like broadly comic books because it's
No.
too broad. There's
Yeah.
too much.
Yeah,
And
you know, all of those books with the definitive history of American comic books.
Yeah,
they're not very definitive. They're actually they're actually quite basic. Once you've read one, you've read them all.
Yeah. 62 Lefty Blues says, sorry, wrong book. It's the Gargoyles and Darkwing Duck that is written by the guys who wrote the show.
Oh, okay.
Tid Goblin says, Jared, that's the first forensic name that you've nailed in pronouncement. Legros. I'm good at that. Foreign, yeah. Yeah, this has got to be the saddest book I read. This is Die Loaded, so it's volume 2. Die was the first one. Peter Gillen, Stephanie Hans, and Clayton Cowles, and this is the one about the people who are trapped in this role-playing game world, and they're trying to get out. And all they have to do to get out is get the whole party together, 6 of them, and say, we want to go home. That proves to be very difficult, especially when some of them don't want to go home. And this mother figure has been trying to get them home, and it is just chaos and the world. There's just so much sadness in this role-playing world. And then there was a twist at the end that was like, oh, I don't want to give away, but I was like, oh, that's really sad. Volume 1 didn't seem so sad, though there was a lot of sadness in it. Maybe because I know what happened in Volume 1, that makes this volume sadder. Like, one of the characters in this, they know died in the Die world. Oh, but they've also made a role-playing game to go along with this. If you're into role-playing games, there's a Die role-playing game. But I'm really enjoying it, but I'm like, wow, that's sad. Might be the saddest comic I've read in a while. Maybe it was because I read volume 1 after it was all out and I was reading it on the train. I don't know. It didn't seem as sad as this volume. Maybe it's because I know what's in store for these guys. I don't know. But it's sad. Very few comics are really sad, I have to say. Especially adventure comics. Comic said, I thought I knew a great deal about comic books. Then I discovered manga and realized I was lost. Yeah, then there's foreign comics. We're just talking American comics historian.
Yeah, you know, when I went on Micah's streams and show the French comics, you know, a lot of those I figured out on the day because I would go to the French website called BDTech, and I look up something that I know. Then I start following links. Then I start taking notes. and then there's rabbit holes everywhere. You never become an expert on French comics because there are so many.
Cavern says, you know what's in store? Why is there framing? No, I just know what's in store because of volume 1 for a couple of the characters. And I know what the characters in volume 1 went through. Like, it's sad because I know that if these characters are stuck in this world for 2 years, 2 years goes by. And this one woman just had a baby. Her and her husband were trying to have a baby. Then he disappeared. And this is for volume 1. And volume 1 was about him in this world. He didn't know he had a baby back home. So he comes out of the world, and his wife has been a single mother for 2 years raising this baby because he didn't know the fertility thing they had worked. So now she's in this world, and she knows she can be gone for 2 years and miss out on her child's life. And we know from one of the characters in the first story had a 16-year-old daughter. And she ran across her 16-year-old daughter in this world as a zombie. Like in this die world, if you die in the world, you become a zombie. And you just live out a zombie life in the world. So she ran into her own daughter. So she's like trying to protect her. So the one woman, or a couple of them, knew that this daughter she was still alive in the real world. So they're like, well, how is she dead in this one? Because everybody who has ever died in the die world is already a zombie. There's time. I don't know what that time travel. They don't know why. So the whole time there, this woman is trying to protect this 16-year-old girl from dying. So it's like, that's sad too. Can we have the long version of the story, please? No. You have to go read it. Jared is skipping details here. So there's like a parallel universe. Yeah, it's a parallel universe of a role-playing world called Die that is literally a 20-sided die, and there's different like worlds. There's like they were in it's kind of like a King Arthur world, but it's really a world of myth. So there's like all sorts of stuff, old myths. So it's like the Beowulf world, the King Arthur world, whatever you got, it's in that one. They've got like, a world that's more like fantasy. They've got all sorts of different things going on, but they're just trying this one, and it's mostly narrated by the older woman who's just trying to keep everyone alive, and everyone else is like, I'm Krusty the Clown. Let me run around, and you're like, oh, stop it! She's trying to keep you alive. I'm writing a parallel universe story right now. Sorry, just very excited to be actually doing it. That's okay. We like excitement here. But read Die. It's out. The first volume is all completed. You can find it. I keep getting updates about the Artemis 2 astronauts splashing down. So they have splashed down.
They have? Okay, great.
Yes. My iPad is giving me constant updates, like I said, that I don't usually get on my laptop. So
Did they see the ice wall that surrounds the flat Earth?
I don't know if they saw that.
No, the flat earthers.
I would say no, because that doesn't exist.
Yeah, no, the flat earthers came out in force because of this.
Though I did get to see the picture of something we haven't seen before, Earthshine. Because when they were taking a picture of the eclipse from the far side of the moon, there was a rim of light around one side of the moon. It wasn't completely blacked out because that was the reflected light from the Earth on the moon, Earthshine. Nice. I was like, we don't get to see this.
We don't. Not at all. Well, that's neat. Yeah.
Yeah. Says Captain Finity says, I'm doing a scene where the goodies are chasing down an assassin from Universe B. Universe Assassin. There was another TV show about, what was it called? Compatriot or something like that? I'm going to have to look it up. It was with, was it with the guy who played J. Jonah Jameson? What's his name? You know him. He's been in everything. He played J. Jonah Jameson.
Yes.
Counterpart. That's the name of the show.
Counterpart.
And I've only watched a few episodes of it. Yeah.
I've heard about it. I've saw like clips on TikTok.
There's it's a parallel Earth show.
Yeah.
And it's like they discovered this parallel Earth. They're hardly telling anyone about it, and everything's almost the same, but not quite.
Right.
But there might be some Cold War starting between them.
J.K. Simmons.
J.K. There we go. J.K. Simmons. Captain Finity says, unfortunately, there's woman-on-woman murder violence. But I'm a feminist. They're not women. They're gangsters. Gangsters. Yeah. Counterpart is so awesome. Oh, he's seen it. Yeah. J.K. Simmons. There's the name for us from Iron Zero.
Yeah, I just got the
Very close.
notification that they splashed down. It
Uh-huh.
just popped up on my phone.
Splashdown. Splashdown. Got any other comics for us there?
I do. Let's see. We have Power Ranger Prime issue number 16.
Hmm.
That's a pretty high number for a book I have yet to read.
Yeah.
Here we go.
Nice cover, too. A little bit of
It is.
action on it. Pretty woman.
It's pretty neat. And let's open up some pages to see. A lot of action going on. We also have from Skybound Transformers issue number 31. Pretty nice cover with Megatron on it.
I'm telling you, I cannot hear the word Transformers without robots in disguise immediately going through my head. Someone paid a lot of money to put that in my head.
Oh yeah, that was the whole 80s.
And I never watched the cartoon.
Not a single episode?
No. I was
You'll
too
be
old
lost.
for it.
You don't know what it's about.
It's
It's,
about robots in disguise. Duh.
it's warring factions that have been warring for 4 million years.
Whoa.
Well, they were asleep for about 4 million years.
Now
So
they're back.
when they crash landed on Earth, and about 4
Uh-huh.
million years went by. They crashed during like the dinosaur age.
Yeah. One day you're going to see an episode from the original series, and in a stroke of bad luck, it will be the Autobot Spike episode. Yeah, Wilson knows what I'm talking about.
Huh.
Autobot Spike is the worst episode of the first season of G1.
Dope Comics is here. Hello there.
So,
And let's see what else we have here. We also have The Muppets Noir.
Oh, you picked that one up.
Picked up
Okay.
the second issue because I enjoyed the
Yeah.
first issue.
Right. I
Kermit,
forgot about that one.
yeah, Kermit was backstage of the Muppet Show, stressing out, and he went to go read a detective story to calm down, and he gets hit by a brick, and so he's knocked out, and it's one of those stories where it's happening in his head, and so is a detective story with the
Uh-huh.
Muppets. The story continues. Pretty well illustrated. The Muppets, I always feel like, is a hard thing to draw.
Yeah.
Or it's not. I'm not drawing it, so it's not a hard thing to draw. There are people who could draw it,
Right.
but it's sometimes it's artwork. You look at it, it's like it doesn't look quite right because we're so used to looking at them
Yeah.
as a puppet. So to look at them as illustrations is a bit. It can be a bit jarring depending on who draws it.
Right.
But
It's a
it
skill.
looks pretty good. Yeah, it definitely is a skill.
And it's a skill you got to work on.
Yep. Now, the next comic we have is Amazing Spider-Man issue number 26. It's part 7 of a story called Death Spiral.
Which is the guy who stole the Shockers
The Shocker's Gauntlets.
gloves, and he's the one I read about in that Scott Koblish covered Venom that I got.
Yes. And then the last book that I picked up merely just for the cover, and it got me interested to check because I like the logo, or at least part of the logo, and that's Web of Venom #1.
Huh.
I guess Venom is trying to be a good guy with Spidey's kind of looking suit. It's reminiscent of the old Spider-Man logos.
Yeah.
You know, you got the spider head on the corner. You have this look. I like Web of that's a
Ah,
Rick Parker lettering because he did it for Web of Spider-Man #1, which for me was like my first. Not that it was my first Spider-Man book. It was the first #1 of a
ah,
Spider-Man while I was collecting. So it's like,
yeah.
you know, I didn't
It
didn't get
holds a place in your heart.
exactly a nice Charles Vest cover,
Yeah.
Spider-Man in the black costume. And again, it was a #1 issue. So I didn't have like Amazing Spider-Man #1 or Peter Parker Spider-Man #1, but this was like a #1 for me. So it's like I always love that logo design, especially the web of part of the spider. And if you watch it over the years, the web of part would go from the top part of the logo right over like here's the V, but it would be Spider-Man. It would slowly shift a few times.
Ah.
You know, it was like one of those weird little logo things. Like I don't know if it was being done on purpose or they were changing stuff up, but it was like one of those oddities that I always found interesting.
I would even call that Web of Spider-Man #1 cover a classic.
Yes.
That one's a very sort of beloved cover. Probably the most famous Charles Vest piece.
Yeah. I think that made me
And
a fan of Charles Vest because then I was aware of him. And then every time a cover would come out that he would
I,
do, I would pick it up. And a lot of them were Spider-Man's.
I've seen that cover a lot on YouTube too, because it's like an easily obtainable Spider-Man #1 with a good cover.
Yes.
So yeah, that one's very well known.
Very classic, very just a beautiful cover.
Yeah. Charles Vest is pretty talented, huh?
Oh, yeah, I think he's going to go places. I think he has a career in comics, I tell you.
I got Murder Podcast,
Ah, okay.
episode #6. I'm really enjoying these Jeremy Juan covers. Mike Tisserand is the interior artist. Jeremy Juan is the writer and cover artist for some of the covers. And this is the one that's about a podcast that will make you if you listen to it, will make you murder the people around you. Has something to do with some cult, it turns out. And the cops are trying to figure it out, and so are these women who listen to true crime podcasts. So it's a pretty interesting story. Ignition Press has got some solid books. Matter of fact, I got another one I tried out this week from Ignition Press, which is think I'm getting the second issue of this. I got 2 first issues this week. The first one being Everyone Loves a Jewel Thief. Which is by Aaron Campbell and Tim Seeley. I think Aaron Campbell's our artist and writer, and Tim Seeley is also writing it. Who's doing our colors by Jordi Belair, letters by And World Design. And this one is about a writer who's also a college professor. And he had a good first novel. He's had a couple of duds of second and third novel, and now he keeps trying to get whatever his latest novel is published, and he can't. So he comes up with an idea to pull off a heist. He's going to make it non-violent. He's going to steal something. There's a cop scene. He's going to steal something, hopefully put a crew together, and then he's going to write a book about it. That's how he's going to get his next bestseller. So it's a heist book, but of course it starts out, I guess it has already gone bad because it starts out with them interrogating some of the people on his crew, the cops, and then we flash back to him putting it together. And the criticism I have of it was I enjoyed it in the end, but it took a while to get going. But I think I'll get a second issue of that. And then the other one I got the first issue of, which I'd like the cover on too, was Boom Studios Neighborhood Watch, which is about, had a little interesting beginning. What did you do to her? A murder victim of some kind. And we have two neighborhoods. We have the hoity-toity homeowners association neighborhood, and we have the hippie organic we grow our own vegetables neighborhood. And we get a page of what's going on in each. And then the murder crosses the neighborhoods over at the end of the first issue. And once again, this one's okay, but Boom comics are $5. This one is $5 too. But for this $5, I get a nice feel. I get a good cover, cardstock, with a nice feel to it. With this one, I get a self-covered comic. That's it. So I might get a second issue of this one and not a second issue of this one. Just because they're both $5, and this one is a better $5 package than this one. So sometimes you got to make monetary decisions when you're buying monthly comics. Do I want to pay $5 for issue 2? No. Even though it was okay. I didn't hate it or anything. And I was a little curious at the end, but not so much. But I wasn't $5 curious. So kind of like this live stream. I don't remember what I said that joke is referring to.
Yeah. Yeah, that's the problem. That's the problem with the comment section. When you reply to something we said, you always have to include our sentence in the reply, so that we know what you're talking about when we go back to it 15 minutes later.
Because I'm sure it was a good joke. And now you have to explain the joke afterwards. Just don't explain it. Don't explain it, because that never works. I was tempted by Neighborhood Watch, but already had 12 books this week. Yeah. I only had 6. That was my 6th book. So, and who knows? Maybe if final order cutoff comes and I only got 3 books that week, maybe I'll throw Neighborhood Watch. But I think I got 10 books next week. So, matter of fact, when I was last week when I was pre-ordering stuff, there was like 3 first issues I could have bought. But I was like, I already got 7. I don't want 10 for this week. And one of them was like an $8 first issue. So I was like, okay, I'm not buying an extra 3 this week. 3 first issues. Because there's only so many comics I can buy.
Yeah. There's a lot of books out there.
Yeah. Like when people say modern comics suck, I'm like, what, are you crazy? There's more books than I can buy.
Yeah. It's like those are the stuff that you might be interested in, such a niche that you can't find anything in that.
Like Wilson and I hardly have any overlap.
Yeah.
He bought like 10 books this week. I bought 7, and there was like 1, I think, that was overlap. It was like
Dork.
Yeah, the hot book.
The hot book that was just like, okay, I got to see why this is
right.
Is this book really hot? And I'm excited to see, because so many people are talking about it. Because in some cases, when too many people are talking about it, it's like, is it that good, or or do too many people like it? So it's like, I need to check it out. I got to see what it's like.
League of Comic Beast says I have 10 books coming out this week, but I know I won't make it to my shop, and one is a trade I will wait for. I think I just got my comic shop sends me an email of what books are coming in for me that week. And I also use League of Comic Geek. I started using it last year for the first time, so I try to get them to match up. So I know definitely. But the ones that my comic shop tells me are definitely there. Or at least should be, because like Dork was damaged this week, so it wasn't actually there for me, but I pulled it off then. whatever. Hmm. And Paulo,
Now,
I think you missed in the beginning. I'm going to
mhm.
get to see Wilson in a couple of weeks
Oh,
because
cool.
I'm repping Pratt at the his old high school where he
Ah,
always does that show.
cool.
So I'll be there too.
Yeah, you can do the show from there, both of you.
Yeah,
Live
on
from the
Saturday
show.
and Sunday. Are you doing both days?
Yes.
Okay.
Reception has been bad though. Phone reception
Ah,
at this place. There's been a few times that I'll try to like I'll be able to record a TikTok, but not send it out. It
yeah.
just the connection is horrible.
Oh, like it's not only the play. I can remember, especially in the it was years ago now, in the early 2000s, maybe even the late aughts, I think it was. So like 2007, 2008. So smartphones were a thing, I think, by then. Maybe just beginning, but still, I didn't have one. But when I used to go down to the um, Halloween parade in Manhattan, and nobody's phone would work,
Right.
everybody'd be like, my phone's not working. And people be walking around going, my phone. I'm like, there's an extra million people in this neighborhood.
Yeah.
Not even Midtown Manhattan is prepared for that at this time. I don't know if they are now. I couldn't tell you, but I probably not. But it's like when you put an extra million people in a neighborhood, or even, or maybe not, maybe I'm exaggerating, an extra 200,000 people in a neighborhood, an extra 50,000 people in a neighborhood that's already got thousands. Your
Yeah.
phone reception's not going to do too well. Hmm.
So I collect comic book stuff, I collect toys, and I collect Hot Wheels cars.
Okay.
And I'm a sucker for the Batmobiles. I'm a sucker for anything that's been on television, cartoons, and stuff like that. So
You're
I got,
just a sucker.
I'm just a sucker. So here's the Batmobiles, a
Ah, yes.
1966 Batmobile, but it's just all in red, you know. And so I picked that up because of the neatness and it's Batman. I also picked up, based on the toys, a car that looks like the rotary phones that we had as children, or
Ah,
had as children. So like this just neat. And then I picked this one up because being an artist is why I picked this one up. But it's Pantone, and it's Pantone color
oh,
car.
wow.
It's a so it's a Hot Wheel car in
Pantone
this
186. I wonder
official
if I.
Pantone color. And apparently there are six altogether. So those are the
Wow.
cars, but we don't know what color they're going to be.
Ah,
So it's like, but there's six altogether to get. Now I don't know if there's six cars in Pantone or if we're going to get different colors for them. I did not expect to see this, so it was one of those. Oh,
I got to
that's
get that
neat.
one,
I
you
got to
think?
get that as an art. So even if I wasn't collecting the Hot Wheels, I probably would have picked this up. So I thought that was a nice thing to show. It's like for artists, check it out.
Uh, here is the Pantone 186 marker
Ah, there you go.
in my Pantone marker collection that I got at the end of last year. So you can get a marker in that color too.
That's right.
Ha. Sid Collins says, holy shit, I would buy those Pantone cars, and I hate cars. Comics Forget says, I couldn't afford all the books I wanted when they were 15 cents. Oh, I remember when comics went to 35 cents. To me, that was every time they raised up a nickel, it was like, oh. But when it hit 35, because I started out at 25 cents and they went to 30, and I was like, oh, but when they went to 35 cents and it didn't even like round off anywhere, I was like, oh, 35 cents really hit me hard.
I started, I want to say 50. I want to say 50 cents might have been the price point at that time. Because it didn't take long to get from 50 to 60 cents. And then I think we had a 65.
I think it went right to 75.
Did it go right to
It may
75?
have gone right to
I
75.
thought it was 60 then 65 and then jumped 75. We didn't get a 70.
I think it may have gone
I
right
don't
from
recall.
60 to 75.
Well,
I'm not 100% sure.
yeah. So if it jumped from 60 to 75, I know that pissed me off because before that it was just at least an increment of a nickel.
Yeah.
Then it jumped to 75, and then when it hit the dollar, I was like, "Damn, this is just so wrong." And then it just kept going.
I actually, I still have a bunch of Hot Wheels Matchbox Johnny Lightning cars that I collected. I think it was the late 90s. Yeah, because I got a couple
Yeah,
Millennium
Johnny
cars.
Lightning was big in the 90s,
They
and
were
that's
they
when
were
I
my
was really buying stuff
they
too.
were my favorite because they were all metal
Yeah,
and just well crafted. But I was buying them in the late 90s because they were so cheap. Because I think I was broke for some reason in the late 90s. And they were $1. Like Johnny Lightnings were the expensive ones at $3. And Matchbox and Hot Wheels were $1. But then they kept creeping up in price because they kept getting more licenses and more they did and making, more. So by the time I like stopped a few years later, Johnny Lightnings were probably $5 or $6. And Matchbox and Hot Wheels, though they were still the basic ones for like $1.50, there were just so many like special one, like those, like the Pantone one would
right.
probably be at that time $3 or $4. It's probably like $10 now.
Uh, 4.99
Yeah, four
for
ninety
that
nine. So the
particular one. So for Hot Wheels that I've been watching, the regular ones are anywhere from $1 to $1.25.
right.
Then the specialty ones, which have like a little more artwork, the designs are slightly different.
Mm-hmm.
4.99. There was the Batmobile that I think I showed off last time that had a special piece of art on it, and those are 6.99. And those like the main prices that they've been going for
How much?
lately.
How much was the Superman one? You got that Superman one with
The
Action Comics #1 on it.
Superman one was, I believe, 6.99, if I remember correctly.
That one was
And
pretty
again,
nice.
yeah, because
That
that
was the
had the specialty artwork
right.
for it. Because sometimes the ones with the specialty artwork will appear on the regular ones for the 150 price, but sometimes they pop up, sometimes they don't.
You know that Johnny Lightning was only in business for less than 5 years?
When? What do you mean?
69 to 73.
Oh, okay. And then the stuff I was getting in the 90s was a revival of Johnny
Yeah, yeah.
Lightning. See, I didn't even
Okay,
know that.
yeah, I wasn't
I
aware of that. Johnny Lightning to me was like
I may
new.
have known that back then, but I don't know it now. I was even in the Johnny Lightning Collectors Club briefly.
It was a trademark squatter, but apparently the guy liked toys.
Oh, really?
Yeah, then he
Sorry,
then he sold,
Paolo.
then he sold out to Tomy Corporation.
Ah,
Kit Goblin says, "Sorry, Paolo. You've become a kind internet friend, and I just said I hated your passion, cars. You love cars. I shouldn't have put our countries in dispute again."
The ceasefire is over. We're taking all your COD. We'll go in our floating cars, just to add insult to injury.
I showed off all my stuff. I showed off. Darren Auk. I was so surprised. Oh, that's right. They wrote a little something about him. Just a couple sentences. Let me see. It said Peter Morgan, Brent McCarthy. Darren Auk is a student at the Joe Kubert School. The Guest is his first published color comic book feature. We think Darren shows a lot of potential and hope you'll agree. So he was
that was his
still a
first,
student
and
in
he was still a
83.
student.
I know
Nice.
he's a few years older than me. I thought he had just gotten out of the Kubert School when he started at Marvel, but he may have been out a few years. I don't know.
He may have been out a few
I'll have to
years.
ask him. I'm going to
Yeah,
scan this in and send it to him. I wonder if I already have scans of Vanguard Illustrated. I don't know. I don't know if he's ever posted those, but I was like, ooh.
that does not look familiar because I do, watch his stuff on Facebook, and I've
Yeah.
colored some pinups for him over the years. Every now and then, say, "Hey, I got a job. You want to do it?" It's like, "Yeah," and it will send me something to color. We used to do T-shirts for the rodeo bar.
Ah.
They used to like do special artwork.
But I have to show
For
you
the bar.
this. The first thing he had down was his signature.
Oh yeah.
So he must have been working on that when he was young. How to work on that signature. And I actually, Michael Kreger, also from the Kubert School, a
Right.
friend of Darren's. I don't know who got in first at Marvel. I knew his stuff from Dark Horse Presents. Before he got to Marvel, he had The Zone published in the 80s. And there was even a one-shot of The Zone. I don't know if you know that.
No,
Do you know
actually,
this
I did
Kreger's
not.
Zone? It was in
No,
early Dark Horse Presents.
that I did not know.
I'll occasionally see him draw a little zone. Matter of fact, on my jacket, because the zone is just sort of a simple to draw character. His head's sort of a cylinder, almost a rectangle, and he's got like an eye and a mouth, and just a simple, easy to draw character. And on my jean jacket that I used to wear in my younger years, that has a whole bunch of comic book buttons on it. He actually drew me a button on, it was a little pin that something had fallen off of, and it was fuzzy and white, and he like just drew the Zone's face on it. So
Right.
that pin is on my jacket in the closet. I'll have to dig it
Oh,
out
that's
and
neat. Yeah.
post it. He drew it while we were at Marvel at some time.
Mhm.
The things you collect over the years. I was just thinking about that because there's a TikTok guy who's made it onto my algorithm, which is like something called Millennials Inheritance.
Oh yes, he's popped up on my feed as well.
And it's all the junk that millennials, boomer parents have left them.
Yes. One
Vast
day this will
collections of
all be
stuff.
yours.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's like,
And I'm
uh,
like,
interesting.
my Marvel Picnic 1996 is just junk. Oh, I held such great sentimental value for me. There we go.
I have it up here with the frisbee.
I don't know why yours looks like it's in better shape than mine. Look at mine's
I
got like the
Yeah, yours
lettering
seems
falling off it.
that's the way the frisbee is on mine. That the lettering
Yeah,
is just going apart. Where yeah, I'm surprised how well this one looks,
right,
and it could just be the way it was stored.
right.
That this might have been in a box with nothing on top of it, where this must have rubbed from
Well,
anything else that went against it.
mine's just been sitting on my desk. It like doesn't rub anything, but it's fallen sometimes. Maybe it's
Yeah,
who
Yes,
knows.
yeah.
I found something that I got at a car media show
Uh-huh.
years ago.
A Volkswagen buggy,
It's a
not buggy, but a
radios.
van.
It's a
Oh,
radio.
that's neat.
Yeah.
Huh. Speaking of junk,
We had one
that
of those
millennials won't want.
in our family. We had it when we lived in New Rochelle in the 80s, and her name was Sally. That was the name of the car. Like my dad named
Mhm.
most of the cars, but Sally was like the last one to have like an actual name, and the other ones were just he called them piece of junks, so he never really gave them true names.
Oh, my iPad's finally running down. It's not
Oh,
say, barely connected to the all of a sudden the laptop's not charging it anymore. I don't know why.
That thing wastes more energy than it can recharge through the laptop.
Yeah. Hey, but it's kept it going all this time, so
That's right.
that's good. I'd give you my balloons at the end, but I have to. I guess my reactions aren't on. I thought they were on. I've used them on the iPad before. I don't know why they're not on. But we'll be on Paulo's channel next week.
Although there's the possibility that I might have to start a few minutes late, like I came in today.
Okay, no problem. No problem. That's the way the world runs sometimes. Hopefully I'll figure out what's wrong with my laptop. So I think this this camera is much better than the original one I had on.
Yeah.
Comic Progressive says, I have tens of thousands of comic book strips and no idea what I'll do with them. Me too. I have so many photos too. I have like street photos and my historical, my family photo, all scanned in. Some of them like behind me, not scanned. It's just like, what? I'll have to put them on the. I think there should be like on the internet a big archive of everybody's family photos. Like tie the whole human race together with family photos. I don't know how to. AI will do it.
Library of Congress.
Yeah. Well, I'm going to sign off now before my iPad signs off for me. That little slit's getting smaller and smaller.
All right. You guys
So everyone have a good
great
week out there.
Hold, Take care.
I gotta find out how oh, there's end stream. It moved. It moved on me. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.